Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Who's all out there? What's going on around here? Alright, the fact this hasn't switched over to live is making me sad. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Alright, we got it. The mic check's complete. Thank you, human boy in the past. We got it. Oh boy, I gotta post this to all the places where people give a shit about things. And I'll explain what's going on. Or for now, we'll just let people gather. We'll just let them gather. We'll just let them gather. Hola. Hey, Mossy, how you doing? How you doing? Death Rabbit, hope we get some baby junior rat superstar paws. You do have a theme. Alright, let me just fix these names here while we're waiting on one of our contestants. We do have Father Ramsey versus Shoxxy tonight. Doing something a little different. Alright. Alright. Shoxxy is in the chat. Yo, dog, what up? So what's happening here tonight? Let me remember the details. Gotcha. So, CA recently made a community post that they were sorry, etc., yada yada, you all probably know. And then I was talking to them a bit, and I asked for some DLC keys for tournaments, and I said, hey, I'm tired of going to all these shady sites and whatever. Can I just, like, buy some keys from you guys? And they were like... Sorry. Someone messaged me. And I was trying to buy them, but I was just asking if there was like a store where you could buy keys in bulk so I don't have to keep going to all these random ass sites that have a bunch of pop-ups that make me think I'm going to get a virus. And, anyway, yeah, my CA contact was like, which ones do you want? And I'm like, I don't know. I was probably going to get some Tomb Kings and Vampire Coast because those DLCs are lit. And they're one and dones, right? You have the Tomb Kings, you have all the Tomb Kings. It's not like the Wood Elves where it's like, which Wood Elves? What are we doing? So I was just trying to be simple. And then my CA contact threw me, I believe, 8 codes total. 4 for the Tomb Kings, 4 for the Vampire Coast. And I was like, all right, okay. And he was like, yeah, just whatever. So then I hit up some players in my new player area of my Discord and asked which of them didn't have those DLCs. Gave some to EU players, gave some to NA players. So CA gave Shoxxy Vampire Coast and Tomb Kings. And Father Ramsey received Vampire Coast. But to earn those... Hi, Slime. To earn those DLCs that CA gave to them, I kindly requested that they do a best of 7 for content if they felt like it, and they both said sure. So we half blackmailed, half kindly asked these players to do some content with us. We have a best of 7. Messaged both players ahead of time, and I said, hey, do either of you care? Actually, I just told them, but I'm pretending it was a question for your sake. I said, hey, do either of you care if we ban Grand Cafe and Brett tonight because no one wants to see that shit? And both of them said, sounds lit. We'll be doing a pretty simple pick and ban. It's just pick 2, ban 0. If you don't know what that format is, it's just you, who's ever picking. Sorry, if you haven't already, you can pick first. FYI. Anyway, pick 2 system is very simple. You just declare 2 factions you feel like playing. Like, I want to play some Chaos Dwarves or Greenskins. And then your opponent, knowing that those are your 2 options, picks a faction out of everything in the entire game that they could fight either faction with, and they go, okay, Chaos Dwarves and Greenskins, I could fight that with Warriors of Chaos. I feel fine. And then their opponent would go, huh, Greenskins. So then you have Greenskins, Warriors of Chaos. Simple. You want to see some guns? Are you talking about, like, pew-pew guns? Or, like, muscles? Because muscles... I guess the Vampire Coast has crabs. And those are muscles. That's fine. Slime, how you doing? I keep hearing Darktide gets an update, but I don't know if my articles are out of date or something. But if my Google messages are to be believed, then Darktide has gotten like 3 updates in the last 2 months. That's more of a you and Boar thing. You guys are much better at that than me. I just come in every other week or so and I follow you guys. You guys hold my hand through a hard level. I had this one time with Slime. We were playing Darktide, and I had a literally like level 1 character, but I was obsessed with having the party of 4, right? So I wanted an Ogren, cultist, or whatever the fuck you call him, the flagellant guy, a veteran sharpshooter, and a psyker. I just wanted to have the party, and we were doubled up on something, so I turned into a level 1 veteran sharpshooter, and we go into this like difficulty 3 or 4 mission. I forget. Slime would know. But at one point, Slime goes down, and there's this single guy, and I don't even think he was a special. There's this single guy, and I'm just beating the shit out of him with a shovel, and I hit him with like legitimately 8 to 10 light attacks, and this guy is just stun locked, like freaking out, and Slime's laughing because he's like, that guy should be dead like 6 times over, but you're really pathetic level 1. You have a terrible weapon. And I'm just moral support. So our friend Boar comes over, picks up Slime, and this whole time I'm wailing on this guy. Picks up Slime, and then Slime just shoots him. That's the end of that. But I'm just slapping this guy forever. And we beat that mission, by the way. I was just their little moral support guy. Usually, like, because I was level 1, I would do the objective, right? Like, you go do the little Game Boy that has the moving pieces. I'm like, I could do that while they all actually kill shit. And if someone goes down, I could run over and revive them as fast as anybody else. But when it came to actually dealing damage, it was like, oh no. Oh no. What a terrible time. We did totally crush it. But the next mission we did not. And that one, I was actually my level 25 cultist guy. Flagellant. Whatever. That thing. And they spawned legitimately like 10 of these super heavy armored guys with like chainsaw axes. And when Slime and Boar, who are the best players I know at that game, were both like, yeah, this room was bullshit. We had no chance of winning ever. I'm like, all right, I trust you. Because a room with more than 3 people in it is a hard time for me, so I just smile and nod when they tell me things. Looks like our first matchup will be the Wood Elves versus the Vampire Coast. Father Ramsey playing with his new DLC. Don't know how much he has practiced with them because I sent the codes late last week. So I don't know how much time he's had to play with them. Wood Elves of the Coast is fine. Wood Elves are pretty strong here. They have good infantry clearing tools to get through your chaff. They have good armor-piercing fire damage arrows that can kill the crabs. Coast could be in trouble. Coast in general is weak to archers, which the Wood Elves. They do a little bit of that. Just a teensy bit of archery. I'm trying to think what the Coast can actually do here. Mortars, maybe? Mortars and Melkoth spam. I suppose the summons will be pretty good. which, if he brings the summons, but why wouldn't you? Summons would be pretty good against Wood Elves. Elves in general hate fighting attrition battles with zombies. It's their least favorite thing. Bwag's rooting for Shoxxy. Betraying Father Ramsey. Oh yeah, I was going to introduce these players, wasn't I? But I got distracted by slime. We've seen Shoxxy a good bit in our new player tournaments. They've been crushing it. They do not seem like super sweaty tryhards, because in our last 2 tournaments in a row, they have played almost exclusively Slaanesh, and they keep bringing Nakari and Aluresses and other silly things like that. And their debut on the stream was playing Skaven, trying to make Queek work. Queek did not work, but man, they tried. So we'll see what Shoxxy has. Father Ramsey's been around a little bit longer, but not terribly long. He played in our last faction war, repping the Skaven. Yeah, he's been pretty chill. He's not on a ton on our stream, but he shows up from time to time. From our DMs, it sounds like he's busy with real-life work and other dumb bullshit that you have to do when you're existing in the world. If you want to eat food and have a roof over your head, I guess you have to partake in society. Vampire Coast just about ready to go. Wood Elves still considering it. Wood Elves have a very strange character on their roster right now, and I wonder if they're actually going to keep that one. I've recently gotten back into watching Super Smash Bros. God, it's addicting. It's addicting, but the meta is very stale. So I usually just look for games that have a non-meta character in it. Especially heavies. I love watching heavies. Donkey Kong, Bowser, King K. Rool, King Dedede. These guys are all lit. The meta's usually pretty small, flighty people, though, like Fox, Mario. Makes me sad. And Grace got back into Animal Crossing, which means she re-upped her Nintendo Online membership, so I can play Smash Bros. Online and wreck people as Donkey Kong. As is my birthright. I thought I could be just generally good at Smash Bros. Because I've played it for a long time. Father Ramsey's asked me to rate his Vampire Coast build. I can do that. But yeah, I thought I would be generally good at Smash Bros. Because, like, compared to people in my life, I'm the best Smash Bros. Player I know. But that's not a high bar, which I'm about to get to. But I'm like, okay, I'll be fine. So I start playing Smash Bros. Online. I was not very good at all. I lose a lot against people on the internet. Played Falco in Melee. And then I tried Falco in Ultimate, because I think Smash Ultimate's the one on the Switch, right? He's a wildly different character. This dude has no knockback whatsoever. It's all just like little pokes of damage that send no one anywhere on the map. And it's like, all right, my opponent's at 350% damage. I can't finish them. I can't get them off the map. What up, Pigman Koala? I only strive to protect my Animal Crossing village. The only Animal Crossing I played was the GameCube one, the original one. And that was fire. And then I tried the City Folk one when I started dating Grace, and I just couldn't get into it. Maybe I'd like New Horizons? I don't know. All it takes is one wave dashing wizard to smack you. That sounds about right. Also, to anybody who's like, nah, dude, League of Legends is toxic. No, Total War is toxic. No, Call of Duty is toxic. I think gamers are just toxic. Not all gamers, but there's a lot of toxic gamers out there. And my case in point is, we were playing Super Smash Bros. Online. If you don't know how the online system works, for some god-awful reason, everyone gave CA so much shit when they had domination and land battles tied together. So when you queued up for quick battle, you're queuing up for either, and you couldn't pick. That is Smash Bros. 24/7. You can set preferences, but that doesn't guarantee anything. So I got the 3-minute timer on a game to get 3 stocks off your opponent. I faced a Mario. I was Little Mac. I was just fucking around. He got 1 kill on me, and then just ran away the rest of the game. Because it's 3 fucking minutes long. So the game just ended, and he had 3 stocks, I had 2, and the game gave him the win, and I'm like, we fought for all of 15 seconds, and then this dude just runs away, and the game's not like, it's a tie. It's like, he wins. He wins. It's fine. Fuck you, Nintendo. What is that bullshit? Why even ask me what my preferred settings are if you're just going to do whatever you want anyway? Make a 3-minute timer for a game. Fuck you. I had another thing, too, where it was like, I was Donkey Kong, which is my main. I was Donkey Kong versus a K. Rool with another 3-minute timer. And we were like halfway through Stock 2 and the game ended. Because we're both gigantic! It takes a long time to die! Neither of us was being dicks about it. It was just, the game was still very much in progress. Both of us were like, wow, this is an enjoyable experience I'm having. Oh, the game's over. Okay. I didn't want to finish it anyway. That's fine. Oh, you're fighting a snake and he's just going to throw grenades at you for 45 minutes? We'll make this one a 10-minute timer. Oh, great! Oh, great, this one's a 10-minute timer. I love protracted games against Snake while he sits across the entire battlefield, throws rockets and grenades and shit at me. Thanks, Nintendo. God forbid this is the 3-minute one. I see you're not familiar with Gabe's greater F-word theory. What's that, Calamir? What up, Black Knight? Vanthus, it's not 3 a.m. for 2 a.m. for everybody. Some of us live in the new world. And here it is a balmy 8 p.m. Loading the game of Vampire Counts versus Wood Elves. Had a bit of a long build phase, though I wonder how familiar Shoxxy is with the Wood Elves when I was watching them build their army. It was very start and stop, so I was wondering if they were looking at the units for, like, the first time. Audience plus anonymity equals total F-word. Oh. That's actually probably really true. I like that. It's 217 for the chunk of humanity that matters. What we ended up with for the Wood Elves: 4 Glade Riders with Hagbane tips, so a little bit of skirmish with some poison. 2 Wild Riders with shields, actually 4 Wild Riders with shields, so it is an unholy Rohirrim Wood Elf rush. And then 2 War Dancers with Azrai spears. We also have a Dragon Glade Lord and a Spellsinger of Shadows with Melkoths and Pendulum. I'm drugged up on NyQuil and good vibes, and I'm running out of good vibes. That's unfortunate. NyQuil's pretty cheap compared to good vibes. On the other side, for Father Ramsey and the Vampire Coast, we do have a bit of Pew Pew in the form of ethereal, ghostly monster Pew Pew. The Shade Wraith Gunners, Deck Gunners, one of the best units on the whole roster. Love them. 2 Mortars, Count Noctilus on foot with his Summon and Invocation in Heck, plus his summoning item. 4 Bombers that are not going to have a lot to do versus this specific Wood Elf build. And then a front line of Deckhands mobs, some polearms on the side, Lamprey's Revenge, and another Rotting Promethean. Cool, cool. Since Father Ramsey asked for thoughts on his build, probably keep it to 2 bomber mobs instead of 4 because of the situation you're about to run into. Your biggest threat from the Wood Elves is their archers and their cavalry, so the bombers don't have a whole lot of targets on the roster they want to fight with. They're good at clearing out dryads and all that stuff, but in case the dryads aren't there, or since you're not even that scared of the dryads, maybe not 4 of them. Mortars are fine because you're scared of archers. Shade Wraith Gunners are fine because you're scared of archers. I would get 2... So sell both these bomber mobs and get 2 handgun mobs to counterfire against cavalry. Other than that, the build's pretty fine. Yeah. The basic Rotting Promethean might not be great here, because Wood Elves have a ton of armor piercing. Even their 550 gold regular spears, just the Eternal Guard, have armor piercing. So, yeah. Rotting Promethean's not a great choice, unfortunately. And just because I'm a gunpowder shitter, I would say sell the Rotting Prometheans to get 2 more handgun mobs. So, between the bomber mobs and the Prometheans and whatever, you could get 3 or 4 more handgun mobs. And then that's a right proper pew-pew build. On the other side, for the Wood Elves, these Glade Riders are going to have a tough time really getting in range because the Shade Wraith Gunners can mess them up something fierce. And as long as the Bombers advance whenever these Hagbane tips get close enough to counterfire against the Shade Wraith Gunners, bombs don't do a ton of damage to cavalry, but they do enough that you don't just want to sit there and get bombed in the mouth. So we'll see what they do. Fellbats doing some scouting, looking for Waywatchers, because Waywatchers or Deepwood Scouts would be stalked so you couldn't see them. And that looks like what Father Ramsey's doing. He's just scanning for any hidden Waywatchers or Deepwood Scouts that his mortars should be firing at. Because right now the mortars are pretty bummed out to see 8 cavalry pieces and a dragon. They're like, I don't know what to do with that. It's not my cup of tea. They could fire at the War Dancers, but War Dancers have physical resistance and a very spread formation. So really, the mortars are shit out of luck. Fellbats falling back away from those Glade Riders, and the Glade Riders are moving up. The mortars have now turned their attention onto the only infantry that exists, 1 per War Dancer. Those are expensive units to lose, so Wood Elves will have to do something about that. Not sure what they can do, though. It's not like they're going to get out of range of these mortars. Or if they do, what they'll even do from there. Wood Elves setting up a surround, seeing what they can do, but 2 Rotting Prometheans is not nearly enough to threaten them, so they can get back into this line whenever they really want to. Bomber mobs and these pole arms trying to stop the Wild Riders, but it is the Shade Wraith Gunners that'll do most of the damage here, and that Discouraged might get rid of those guys soon. Noctilus throws out a double summon, really uncomfortable with how close the Wood Elves got to break through his front line already, and a massive volley from these guys on a big old clump of cavalry did way more damage than I honestly expected, and now we have a pistol mob supporting the Shade Wraith Gunners as Lampews venture catching these guys. So it is a bit of a disaster for the Wood Elves on this bottom flank. Already 2 Wild Riders are just about gone. These other Wild Riders are trying to push through. Taking lots of damage. More bombers are here. Doing more damage. Half health, almost dead. And about 1/3 HP. With 3 NA people involved, you don't think that there would be lag, but sometimes you just get that juicy combination of dial-up internet and bad luck. As we watch the Firefly-looking ass arrows flying forward into our gunnery mobs. Those guys are fine taking the damage. They have 7,000 HP, for God's sake. And a great start for the Vampire Coast. Up 2,300 damage value to 700 of the Wood Elves. Wild Riders trying to kill off 1 of the bomber mobs, but they are still surrounded by these pole arms, taking a little bit of extra damage. Oh, never mind. That's just the flag. The main unit's actually way out here, so they're fine. They're chilling. Glade Riders still trying to fire in, and this could be what the Wood Elves were finally looking for as Wild Riders try and get past the crabs onto the deck gunners, but they start to go back to save their other friends from the crabs. No, you have to stay on the deck gunners. Melkoths plus some archer fire. Going to finish off the bombers on this side, and that should allow the War Dancers to get through the front line pretty quickly, especially if the dragon gets involved. She has plenty of breath attacks, and she's just a giant spooky fucking dragon. The Wood Elf Cav going in alone did not end up working out for them, but the dragon could maybe turn this around. Nice breath attack onto the Shade Wraith Gunners. Already about half their HP missing. And if I were her, there's very low single target DPS. You should just land on the Shade Wraith Gunners and get that free damage, and then get back up into the sky if the Lampeous Revenge come to bother you or something like that. Finishing off some bomber mobs. Other deckhands mobs having a bad time fighting these War Dancers, but now that these guys are nice and clumped up, the mortars are actually going to be more effective at close range than they were further off. Still on this side, some summons and bombers keeping the Wild Riders on their toes. What can our friend, the Dragon Rider, do? I wonder if we have a pendulum coming, like, right here where there's 4 infantry units clumped up. That would be nice. The pirates are not ready for the true VC. What true VC? Blade Lord should get out of here now that the Lamper's Revenge are in play, and it looks like they will. Just get up there. 2 Blade Riders, plenty of ammo, still kiting away from Fellbats. They have to hurry up and finish those Fellbats so they can get involved here, where they are much more needed. All 4 Glade Riders are actually doing just fine. Lots of ammo, lots of HP. It's the Wild Riders that got massacred, and the War Dancers. Shoxxy's fallen back. Where are we at with the coast? The very wounded Halberd. Some of the bombers are almost out of ammo. Very wounded frontline in general. And Noctilus has burned some summons. Victor Charlie, I mean, they're in the trees. Fellbats are now singing their last. They will disintegrate away, and that's one less thing to actually chase the Glade Riders down. Not that they're worried about bats, but it is annoying. I don't like it. There's no healing for the Dragon Caster. She is stuck at about half HP, and these Shade Wraith Gunners are continuing to fire at her, just poking her down. Nice 2-for-1 breath attack, but I felt like I got canceled somehow. I wonder if she got staggered by the Shade Wraith fire. Another Melkoths for the bombers so that the Cav can actually get involved. These Riding Prometheans are chasing after the Glade Riders, taking a bit of damage. You think their 120 armor would save them from these guys. They don't have armor-piercing missiles or anything, but they're still poking them down. Shade Wraith Gunners and the artillery should still be pretty good at stopping skirmish, though. That is the traditional counter. You don't see it much these days, both because skirmish cav is not as strong as it has been in previous metas, but also artillery is not in the strongest spots. You don't see either of these units, but this is what artillery is supposed to do. It just forces your opponent, if they're trying to dink around and get value on the edges, it just puts them on a timer. Bombers will finish off those Glade Riders. I keep wanting to say Glade Guard, because everything with Woodwolf roster is a Glade or Eternal something. Anyway. Those guys are routing off. Glade Riders get up in range, start firing at the mortars. Overcasted Invocation of Nehek, trying to heal up everything in this area, including the Shade Wraith Gunners. And as soon as these bombers turn, those skirmish cav will be dead. It looks like a good game 1 to the coast. I do think the coast have it at this point. Surprisingly, the 2 skirmish cav actually did kill off the Rotting Prometheans. Those guys are toast, but doesn't mean the rest of this game is going to go in their favor at all. The coast still have 2 healthy mortars. Shade Wraith Gunners have plenty of ammo. Noctilus is just fine, though he has been burning through summons like nobody's business. He has 1 summon left. Not that it matters. Plenty of chaff, and of course, Lamper's Revenge at full HP. Little arrow of Kurnos from the Glade Lord. I guess it's a Glady. Not the male lord. She doesn't have Helm of Discord. She has Arrows of Kurnos. Oh, and the Banner of the Eternal Queen. I didn't even know this item existed. Usually when you see the Glady, you just see Prey of Anath Rayma and then Arrows of Kurnos. Nice breath attack. Gonna nearly take out a zombie, but the Shade Wraith Gunners will answer in kind. Army losses will start to hit. And the coast will go up 1 game. GG. For the coast, Noctilus got a whopping 0 value because he was just vibing, throwing out summons and heals, which I can't believe he got actually 0 value. He never entered combat. Shade Wraith Gunners did great. They did the exact same value as the Rotting Promethean mob ROR. The regular Rotting Prometheans just got kited and killed. Mortars both paid for themselves. Bombers did overall fine. And then the chaff did overall fine. For the Wood Elves of Shoxxy, Dragon Lords struggled to get their value back. Wild Riders got crumped really hard. Same with the War Dancers, Azrai Spears. And the Skirmish Cav were doing well, but they were the only thing doing well. It's not enough to carry the whole game. Rip in peace. Alright, next map is the Lost Crater. Father Ramram's up to pick. I should be expecting to see 2 games of Skaven in this best of 7, because both of these are... Well, I guess Shoxxy's not a Skaven main. Shoxxy might just main cool factions. Because they've been playing more Slaanesh than Skaven recently. But they used to play Skaven. How much are bombers? 450. 450. Father Ramsey immediately flips over to Greenskins. Shoxxy's on Skaven. Will we see Queek? If Shoxxy wants to win this game, probably not. But Shoxxy plays Slaanesh for God's sakes. When have they ever cared about winning anything? Let's go, Skaven. Recently, I've hated this matchup as Skaven. I've really liked it as Greenskins. Greenskins is one of my counter picks into Skaven these days. It's not traditionally thought of that way, but I have a very specific build and a very specific way I like to play it that's worked quite well for me. So we'll see what Father Ramsey does. I don't remember if I've told him my build here or how to play it, because the build itself isn't that special, but how you play it's rather specific. We'll see what he does. Since Wurzag nerfs, a ton of people have been trying out Greenskins. Greenskins are very fun right now. I still think they're a C-tier faction. They're serviceable. They're not terrible, but I do think they need some buffs in the next couple patches. But they're fun again, because any faction that has, like, this is the only lord you should be taking, that's not as fun. It's just not, right? It's way more fun to experiment around and try some stuff. So now that the Greenskins S-tier lord got slapped into the dirt, all of a sudden it's a fun faction to play again. They could use some buffs here and there, mostly in their lord category. Without Wurzag, I was worried the rest of the roster wouldn't do very well. I think the Boar Boys still kind of suck, but jury's out on that. What I can say for sure is their lord options are all pretty bad. I've been going with a lot of Foot Azhag, but he definitely feels like a least worst option rather than a I want to take Azhag because I'm excited about what he'll do in this game, if that makes sense. Stormvermin, Queek, Eshencaster. Let's see all the unloved parts of Skaven. I wish the nerfs to Bonewood Staff and Rune of Doom had been, let's say, 200 meters rather than 55. True, Mousy. It was too harsh. Wurzag needed nerfs. I've never disagreed that he needed nerfs, but I don't know. Didn't need to gut the boy like that. I guess he's serviceable, but not good, is how I would rate Wurzag right now. Same with Azhag. Serviceable, not good. How would Lizardmen be rated if generic Slans were not a thing? Oh, they would be way worse. They're currently S tier. If without Slans at all, I would put them in C or B. Not sure, but C or B. Slans are just really cost-effective, tanky, cheap caster lords with a bunch of floors of magic. And then really good supportive options that aren't even spells, like their Bound Banishment, their Bound Blood Statue with Spite. The Shield the Old Ones. They just have a ton of great resources. I think Slans either, not both, either need a cost increase just to bring them more up to the level of the value they provide, or to be more fragile to really fulfill the role of being like a caster lord, which are usually bad melee combatants. But Slans have a giant health pool, a really strong model, and good defensive options. So they're both tanky and cheap as a caster, which is not. One of those has to go. So I don't care which one it is. Both have benefits and negatives, but I do think one has to be true. All right. Father Ramsey is not taking my build. Not even close. And I'm not saying he should. I was just curious what he would end up with, and I'm like, oh, I wonder how close it'll be. Not at all. Oh, okay. No. Not a thing. They definitely need boosts across the board. Yeah, going down the line while Shoxxy finishes up their build. The Greenskins are ready. Shoxxy is like messing around with Chevron, so we'll get going soon. Across the board, what do they need for buffs? Night Goblin War Boss is okay. He's okay. I'd give him a little more health on his Squig, but that's about it, because otherwise Spirit Leech just kills him. Orc War Boss on his Wyvern needs a serious cost reduction. Azhag on his Wyvern too also needs a cost reduction. Because Azhag on foot is fine. It's Azhag on his Wyvern that's way overcosted for what he does. So he needs a serious cost reduction, or Wyverns need a re-looking at for what they do. Because they don't have breath attacks, and then they have Terrorgeist level of melee combatants, which is not good. Skarsnik's alright. He could use a cost decrease, because he's 2,000 base gold right now, which is insane for a Footlord that's not a caster. It's just way too much investment. So Skarsnik needs cost decrease, and I know you're getting sick of hearing that, but here we go. Goblin Great Shaman, he needs a better Lore of Magic. The Lore of Little Wa is abysmally bad. So if that was good, he would be good. He's a good price. He has really good mount options. His Spider Mount is expensive but effective. His Wolf Mount is cheap but fast. And then he on foot is crazy cheap, and I think he has stock. So, like, he's set up. He just has bad Lore of Magic. Grom needs... You're all going to hate me, but he needs more tankiness. In Game 2, he was insanely tanky and could never die. In Game 3, that fucker dies if I put him in combat ever. He needs to be a little tankier. Not a ton tankier, but a little tankier. Probably just, like, slightly better melee defense stat. Then we already discussed Azhag. Grimgor... I think his blood explosion armor or whatever needs to be armor piercing, like Snitch's Spin. If his explosion is more like Snitch's Spin, Grimgor would be viable. Because right now the strategy for Grimgor is just bury him in chaff infantry and leave him. So if his explosion actually killed them off, then you might need to consider fighting him with single entity, which would make him useful. And then that's everybody, except for Warzag, but... I don't know, I'd have to think on that. Warzag might need spell resist. Because his biggest problem right now is that he's your caster and your lord, so he's doubly valuable for your opponent to kill, but then he's very easy to kill. And it's like, okay, well, I don't think he should get better melee stats, because that's not what he does, but can he get some spell resist so that I don't get Spirit Leeched 4 times and lose my lord? Alright, we're into game 2. So Father Ramsey going with a very spicy greenskin build. 5 goblins, Grom the Paunch, the Biggin Rogue Idol, a Night Goblin Shaman. When I literally just got done saying your lore is trash, we have Curse of the Bad Moon, Sneaky Stabbin', and then Wand Jet with Madcap Mushrooms as well. Night Goblin Archers, including the Rusty Errors, so 3 of them. And I do like stocked Goblin Archers versus Skaven, because then the Avalanche Mortars or whatever can't see them before they're in range, so you can't kill them off. We have 2 Goblin Rock Labas, including the Hammer of Gork, and then 2 Stone Trolls, which are solid. My problem with the Night Goblin lore is mostly its lore passive. Sneaky Stealing sucks. I took it into, I believe, Tzeentch, and I spammed 2 super cheap spells. I was playing with, I think, Lenorm, and I was just trying to annoy him so he couldn't cast any spells. He cast Blue Fire like nobody's business, and then when I asked him if I was being annoying, he said, "Oh, you were reducing my Winds of Magic?" I didn't even notice. So Sneaky Stealing sucks. On the other side for Shoxxy. Hey! Shoxxy did it! The Mad Lad brought fucking Queek Headtaker. Let's go. The best lord in the whole game. We love Queek. Queek is my favorite. Queek is my boy. So we have Queek Headtaker. It gets Zap, which will probably train on the Rogue Idol and shoot at it the entire game. 2 Stormvermin with Halberds, one of which is the Council Guard, a front line of Clan Rats. 1 Eshin Triad defending It Gets Zap, a Warlock Engineer with Howling Warp Gale, Death Frenzy, and Warp Lightning, some Skaven Slaves, and then we have the Avalanche Mortars and 3 Poison Globes. Behind the blocker, they were teasing around with the purple globes, but it looks like they were just too expensive, and really wanted Queek and the Storm Vermin more, so ended up cutting those. I am a little worried that on this map, deploying the Warp Lightning Cannon on a hill like this, once the Greenskin army gets down into the bowl, the Warp Lightning Cannon will have a very hard time continuing to fire at them. They're uniquely completely devoid of any way to boost their power recharge rate. Maybe. I think you could fix the lore of Little Wa. Because Itchy Nuisance is okay. Sneaky Stabbin's okay. Gorkleficicid is good. Night Shroud sucks ass. Ass. Curse of the Bad Moon's not great. Vindictive Glare is pretty solid. So I think you could fix this whole lore if their lore passive was worth anything. Because so many of their spells are cheap that you want to spam them and get the lore passive, but the lore passive's bad. Either upgrade it to like minus 100% recharge rate, or if you think that's too harsh, minus 60 or minus 80. But I would think minus 100% recharge rate for less of a duration, and it's just like you just don't get Winds of Magic for a little bit. Kind of have the Kotep effect to be annoying. Because the whole point of this is like sneaky stealing. It's supposed to be annoying. Or go the other way and actually steal when you're sneaky stealing. Decrease the enemy's power recharge by, like... Honestly, you could go 0% and steal their reserves instead. Now, you'd want to set that very low. Like, every spell you cast, in the end, steals 2 Winds of Magic from the enemy's overall reserve. Right? Something small like that. But that's actual stealing. So I think there are ways, but just a fucking minus 40 for the enemy army? Okay. Big whoop. Who gives a shit? It's also a little asynergistic with the Greenskins roster because there's that Itchy Nuisance, which is minus 24 melee attack. Bro, nothing on this roster has melee defense worth a damn. So it doesn't matter. Whoever you're fighting's still gonna land hits. It's worthless. Alright, we are off. It gets Zap has plenty of good targets, either counter-dueling with the Goblin Rock Lobbas or shooting at the Biggin. I would probably vote for the Biggin, as the Biggin starts his duel with Icket Zap, and 3 Rock Lobbas, if you count the Biggin, should beat Icket Zap in a duel. Especially with this angle of fire. They're not straight shooting, so the bank isn't going to help Icket Zap at all. They're going to go up and over and hit him. Asynergistic? What did I say? Goblin Rock Lobber already down a model. Alright, go Icket Zap, go. There's the Biggin firing in. Man, rest in peace, Eshin Triad. That's not even spotted, but taking strays. They popped concealment bombs to be extra hidden as random stray shots just smoke them. Oh well. Man, the lag makes me sad. We specifically set this up with everybody in the US so that there'd be as little chance that this is possible. Oh! There go the avalanche mortars. Say goodbye to that goblin. God damn. Rogue Idol still trying to fire off, but Skaven doing Skaven things. The avalanche mortars do need to switch targets as they extra fuck up that one specific goblin. But the Rusty Arrows are getting close to being in range. Those Clan Rats with Spears have to advance out there and stop the Rusty Arrows from getting here because the avalanche mortars will die real quick if that's the case. As the avalanche mortars, I'll say it again, fuck that specific goblin that has already shattered. They're already dead. But now they're extra dead. And Queek is standing by. The Rusty Arrows firing at some Clan Rats with their shields. Stone Trolls will charge in. And without the Storm Vermin, the Stone Trolls should have a great time. But if the Council Guard feel like getting involved, then those Stone Trolls will have a bad day. Queek and Grom, I imagine their paths will not cross for quite a while, but Queek wishes that they would. Poison Globes are going to defend themselves from these goblins. They're just fine. Eshin Triad already missing about a fifth of its HP. Unspotted as of yet. And Icket Zap is having a grand old time versus the Rogue Idol. He's already down to half HP, poor bastard. Curse of the Bad Moon going through these Clan Rats. Looks like it hit this one. So Dynasty Curse is counteracting Stand Your Ground, making those guys extra vulnerable. When it friendly fires, it does do damage to the Rusty Arrows, but it doesn't give them the debuffs. That's really the only benefit they have. And the Stone Trolls are still trying to push through. The Avalanche Mortars have switched targets, killing another Goblin outright, but not doing too much damage to the Trolls. Trolls are what makes this matchup quite Greenskin favored, in my opinion. Queek is in it as the first Wah is popped. Storm Vermin already thinking about routing, but Queek's going to keep him in the fight for now. Skaven Slaves advancing to buy a little bit of time for the Avalanche Mortars to continue firing. And the Curse of the Bad Moon ended up doing more damage to the Rusty Arrows than it did to anything on the Skaven roster. Skaven Slaves and Council Guard pushed back, but the Council Guard took a lot of damage from something. They're already almost toast. And I wonder if it was their own Poison Wind Globes, because that would be just classic them. Alright, the lag has subsided. It looks like it was a temporary spike, because we've gotten through a lot of gameplay without it. And the Eshin Triads are charging downhill. Grom did not see him coming, but neither did the Globes! As the Globes fuck up their own lads! From the shadows! They just show up and die. And the Biggin is rejoining the fight, still getting hit by Icket Zap despite the angle. I am shocked these lightning cannons can keep shooting at him like this. But apparently they can. Storm Vermin are terror routing away from the Biggin. Stone Troll still taking damage from Poison Globes, but one Poison Globe is shut down, running away, and Grom is in trying to stop these other ones. Oh wait, they're way the fuck over there. Okay, whatever. Grom's rolling through Esh and Triads. Queek's looking to pick a fight with him. Trophy heads is down, so he has 0 melee defense as he runs back into Skaven Slaves. And he can take a ton of damage here. With 0 melee defense, the Esh and Triads are going to tear him apart. Stone Troll's routed off, though. Bounce Power's about dead, even as the Rogue Idol continues to waddle upstream to get to Icked Zap Zap and stop the pain. Grom's trying to get away. He has plenty of regeneration left to do, so if he can get out of this pile of Skaven, which it looks like he's about to, then he can regenerate safely in peace. Avalanche Mortars are almost dead. Icked Zap Zap close to being shut down, but not quite yet. And every moment they get to fight, the Rogue Idol dies a little bit more inside. Skaven don't have a ton of random crap left, but oh shit, Grom got caught by Queek again. Grom's trying to run. He's trying to run! We still have 2 catapults for the Greenskins that could stall out this game pretty hard, but the main problem is that that Zap Zap is killing off the Rogue Idol real fast. Another Curse of the Bad Moon's going to go through the Clanrad Spears. Should do a good bit of damage to them, and hopefully for the Greenskins' sake, it travels along their line instead of away. It looks like so far it went up their lines, which is just fine. Rogue Idol is ignoring Icked Zap Zap to his own peril. He doesn't give a single shit. He's after these Avalanche Mortars above all else. But Globes plus the Avalanche Mortars will push off the Trolls once again. They'll probably go straight off the map. Rogue Idol claps those guys. They're all going to die. Icked Zap Zap tries to get away from the Goblin Shaman who's showing up. Somehow Grom got caught by Queek and the Esh and Triads again, and I'm very angry. I'm angry at you, Grom. He'll roll away. He'll heal up on his little scooter. He'll be fine. The Rogue Idol now going to take matters into its own hands. It's waddling towards Icked Zap Zap. I don't know if the Greenskins even have to fear from the Avalanche Mortars anymore at this moment. Everything that could get hit by it is way out of range or already dead. So I think they need to shut down Icked Zap Zap. Then the Rogue Idol can honestly do some pretty good carrying for them. But oh no, his Rampage is kicked in. He has Rampage once he gets down to his tier 3. So he's lost a lot of his armor. He's down to 60 armor. Gets shot in the face by Icked Zap Zap. And that is GG for the Skaven. Queek did it. Y'all were doubters, but Queek did it. (1-1). Grom did alright. Rogue Idol didn't get a ton of value, but it did walk up and clap the Avalanche Mortars a few times, so how mad can you really be? Goblin Shaman, I don't know what he did. Maybe that's the point. Stone Trolls got routed off. Both of the catapults did okay. Archers did okay. And Goblins got massacred. On the other side for Queek. Queek survived. That's all you can hope. Icked Zap Zap, true hero of the day with almost 2,000 value. Storm Vermin didn't do much, routed off. Esh and Triads, 1,300 value. Oh my goodness. They did great despite the start. 1,200 on the Avalanche Mortars. Globes did very well. And Clanrad Spears held forever. GG. Boop. Myth level Skaven W. The Zap Zap just got to fire, man. So it's game 3, so we are back on Shoxxy's pick 2. Father Ramsey all of a sudden hovering Lizardmen. I wonder if the pick 2 is already out and they picked Lizardmen. Now Shoxxy's deciding what to do with that information. If the rest of the series goes how the latter 2/3 of that game went, we'll be just fine. There was that like super lag spike at the start and then nothing. It was smooth sailing. So I don't know what that was. I need to become a Super Smash Bros. Caster. That's my life now. That's all I care about. I don't know if you guys have this experience in Total War, because I've been playing Total War Warhammer for 5 years competitively. 4, 5, 5. So I've been playing a lot. I can kind of half-ass any faction, to be honest. But in Super Smash Bros. Or League of Legends, I watch a pro play a character I want to play. And I go, dude, that shit looks easy. Okay, I got it. Just jump and do the neutral air like 3 times and you'll kill him easy. And then when I pick that character, I'm like, this guy sucks ass. I can't do anything. None of his moves do any damage. Everything's on the longest fucking cooldown if you're talking about League of Legends. I don't know. Shit's wild. Especially League. When I watch League, it's like... In solo queue, I'll play... what was I playing recently? I haven't played League in like a year, so it's hard to think of an example. I don't know. The pros are all still playing with Sejuani after like 6 nerfs in a row, and she sucks. And I used to be a Sejuani main, and now I can't win with her at all because she's just way too nerfed. And she has like a 30% win rate in solo queue. But then in pro, like at Worlds, they're just constantly picking Sejuani. She's the most prioritized jungler. Everybody loves Sejuani. And I'm like, bro, have you guys never heard of like Jarvan right now? He's fucking busted. Or Udyr's busted. Nocturne. Rek'Sai. Shit's weird sometimes. Because clearly the pros know something. It's not like they're just idiots. Yes, every pro League player in the world is just stupid, and I'm a genius. But you also look at the champions, and you look at their numbers and their power, and you're like, well, Sejuani could do 100 damage and be sort of tanky, or you could be Udyr, do 1,000,000 damage and be super tanky. So, yeah, Sej looks like a good pick here, I guess. Do that. Is this sweaty? You'd have to ask the players, though. Shoxxy, I don't know if they've ever sweat in their entire life. They just kind of live with the meme, die with the meme. And they're both newer players to the scene. So also I think their faction pool might be a little limited. But whether they're trying their best, I don't know. You'd have to ask them. It's, it might be sweaty, but if you just don't know how to play certain factions, then you can't play them. Fighting games, I just don't get it. Yeah. You only play Total War games, Ryan? Alright. Alright. Thought you were all about that baseball game? Mario Superstar Baseball? Mario Superstar Baseball is some bullshit, Sakura. It's some bullshit. I forgot this, but I remembered why, like, 12-year-old me was so pissed. Pro all teams are unapologetically safe in their drafts. It's pretty inspiring to watch. True. But no. You're hitting on the real shit. So, I pick up Mario Superstar Baseball, okay? Now, hear me out. If you don't know what this is, don't worry. I got you. So, you're playing baseball as a bunch of Mario characters. That's all it is. It's just kind of dumb. But the big characters like Mario, Bowser, Luigi, they have special abilities. And if they're pitching, they have a special pitch. And if they're batting, they have like a special hit. Like Mario's, if he uses his special power while he's batting, he hits it really far, really fast, and it's covered in fire. Okay? That's all his power is. If Bowser hits it, it goes really far and really fast as a bullet bill. That's all it is. Okay? If Yoshi hits it, it's an egg and it bounces all over the fucking place and it's very hard to catch. Okay? Okay. You get it. Donkey Kong hits it, it's a banana, it goes in like a weird arc. You're like, yes, human boy, we get it. Where are you going with this? All those sounded cool. All of those are just objectively good powers. Especially Mario's, that stays low to the ground, so it's hard to catch. Okay. My favorite character in all of Mario games, whenever Grace and I play Mario Party, whenever we play Mario Kart Double Dash, whenever we play Mario Kart Regular, whenever we play Mario Power Tennis together, I'm always Waluigi. I love Waluigi. I've always loved Waluigi. He's my fucking favorite. He's the GOAT. I don't know why he's not in Smash. He's the best guy. Best boy. Waluigi and Wario's powers are the factually, mathematically, practically, religiously, color-wise, the worst. They're the worst fucking powers. Their power, when they swing their bat and they hit the fancy ball, they hit it at a pop fly every time. Pop flies are terrible in baseball. If you don't know what that is, you hit the ball super high in the air, so it's very, very easy to catch. But dear listener, there's a bit of a trick with this. You see, yes, it's a pop fly. Yes, it's a terrible thing to hit. Yes, and all that stuff. But while Luigi and Wario's balls, when they get close to the ground, they split into two. So you have a 50-50 chance about whether or not you're going to catch it, because are you picking the fake ball? Or are you picking the real ball? Hey, spoiler alert! You're playing versus AI! They always know what the real one is. They have a 100% catch rate. How do I know it's 100%? Am I exaggerating? No! Now, I've beaten that campaign like 6 or 7 times when I was a kid, and I'm replaying it now for fun, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember, they always catch this fucking thing. I've hit 10 of these split balls so far. They have caught all 10. Grace was on the couch playing Animal Crossing. I was doing that, and I'm like, and they fucking caught it again! And Grace was like, you don't need to shout, and I'm like, I do need to shout! Because they fucking catch it every time. Because the AI doesn't even pretend that they don't know which one it is. They just go stand where it's gonna be. The ball hasn't even split yet. It's coming towards the middle. So you could think they'd be standing in the middle where it's theoretically gonna land. No, he's standing slightly to the left. Oh, the ball splits, and now one's heading for him and one's heading way off into nowhere. Maybe it's the one he caught. It's always the one he caught. That's always the one. It always gets you out. It's just a free way to get out. Never use this special ability because it sucks. And I'm not mad about it. I'm chill. I'm fucking chilling. Wario's my fave. Slime, he has the same shitty power. It's yellow. Bro has beef with the sport. Also, hi, Death Rabbit. Bah! I kick you. So that's where I'm at. I'm fucking chill, said Hummus calmly. It's overall a fun game, but my favorite character's power is just objectively trash. Mario's is like, Mario's is really good as a bat, because it just goes low and fast, but you don't know where it's going to come out, because it depends on when he hits it, whether it's going left, right, or center, that kind of thing. His pitch is actually terrible, because I already have the timing down. It's just a fast, straight pitch. I know it's coming to the center of the plate, and as soon as I see the animation that it's like, where he's doing his crazy power thing, it's like, oh, okay, I just need to up my timing by like 2-fold. Boom, hit it. I used the Dry Bones team in that game. Yeah, that's Bowser's team. Bowser's team is great. Bowser's team is actually OP, and it's supposed to be because he's the final boss. But they have mathematically more synergies than the rest because there's a synergy system that I didn't explain. Like, if Mario and Luigi are both, like, if Mario throws to Luigi, he throws it like 50% faster, and they get like a little heart above their head that's like, "Oh, we're brothers!" Hello! And if like Peach throws to Mario, she gets a little heart over her head. She's like, "Oh, Mario!" Oh! Shit like that. Bowser's team has the most blank of the entire game because like everybody on the roster loves Bowser. So anybody throwing to Bowser, anybody batting for Bowser gets a buff, and then a lot of the Dry Bones like the Hammer Bros, shit like that. So Bowser's team is OP. I fucking love Hammer Bro. He's so fun to bat with because specifically the one with the hammer. It's just really satisfying to bat with a sledgehammer. Like, it sounds fun in real life. It's very fun in a cartoon. It's just exactly as fun as it sounds like it would be. Peeks up from behind his desk. Is it over? Oh, come on, it's not bad. Alright, Shoxxy's on Slaanesh. Pick they're very much known for. And on this side we have Father Ramsey on Dark Elves. Crafting a build. Slaanesh has 100 gold left to spend, so they're just kind of tweaking it around. And Dark Elves have about 1,000. So we'll get into game soon. I hated using Peach's team. Peach's team objectively sucks. It's actually just horrible trash. Yeah. Because I beat everybody besides Bowser now in this run as Waluigi and Wario's team. I beat everybody besides Bowser, so Bowser was unlocked, and I went to fight him with my vanilla Wario team, because I haven't unlocked anybody. And we lost badly. I'm like, okay, I need a better team. I specifically need better fielders, because I have the Magic Koopas, and they're okay. But my outfield is all heavies, so they can't run, but I have no one who can run. Like, literally no one on Wario's starting team can run. So it was funny, I was looking at all the rosters and trying to decide who I want to go recruit. Mario's team has no one I really want. It's a fine team, it has no one I want. Peach's team just sucks. So then I was looking at Yoshi and Donkey Kong's teams, and I'm like, yeah. So now I've been spamming the Donkey Kong guys, and I've just been fighting them over and over, because I really want to get Diddy. Diddy's a great outfielder, and I need him. I already got the Flying Goomba, and he sucks ass. He's cool, but he sucks ass. So I think I want Paratroopa and Diddy and Dixie. Those three. And then I have 3 good outfielders, and then I honestly think my team's set, and I could go fight Bowser. I'll take DK if I get him, but I'm not aiming for him. It's fine. If there's not scantily clad women on both sides, is this really a Dark Elf versus Slaanesh game? I think you're going to be eating good. I think you're going to be eating good, Sakura. What makes Dark Elf so popular? From a meta perspective, they're a very generalist faction. Dark Elves don't have any unwinnable matchups, so they're pretty safe to learn. It's not like I spent hours learning this faction, but if you pick 1, 2, or 3, I am completely fucked. Dark Elves are generally just fine. So they're a worthwhile investment. They have a cool aesthetic that people really enjoy. They're very cringe edgelord, which is an aesthetic I rather enjoy. Yeah, Dark Elves are just cool. Who wins between Plague Monks and Death Runners? RR versus ROR. Well, Plague Monks don't have an ROR. Base Plague Monks versus base Death Runners? Probably Death Runners. Probably Death Runners. That'd be close, though. It's not a fight Death Runners really want, because their armor piercing's wasted and they're worth more money. Vixen's Death Squad would body the shit out of a Plague Monk ROR. Vixen's Death Squad are badass. Where did Malice get his name? Darkblade... I don't know where Malice came from, but it's a synonym for hatred, so Dark Elf reasons. But he did get the last name Darkblade because he was a bastard son, so his dad didn't want to give him like the family name because he hates Malice. So he gave him the last name Darkblade, which is like a Darkblade is a sword that was forged incorrectly, so it like the metal is dark and dull instead of steel and shiny, and they're brittle and easily break. So his name is essentially Malice Shitty Sword. Why wouldn't Plague Monks win over Death Runners? Maybe I'm just thinking about the wrong units here. Death Runners and Plague Monks. Plague Monks have less speed, less melee attack, less melee defense, less armor, more HP. Ooh, Death Runners only have 72 models, though. Yeah, that's pretty terrible. Okay, Plague Monks have way more health. Yeah, you're right. Plague Monks would dominate. I thought they had similar health pools, but the difference in health pool is insane. Yeah, Plague Monks win that every time. Same map. I forgot to change it. Shit happens. Okay, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? For the Dark Elves of Father Ramsey. Front line of 5 Witch Elves. Khorne Hellebron up on her giant blood shrine. She does have the Fury of Cain, Heroic Killing Blow, Witch Brew, Gaze of Cain. Wow, she is stacked out. Alright, this is a fully kitted Hellebron. My god. Then we have a Sorceress of Fire with Burning Head and Flaming Sword of Ruin to give our Witch Elf friends some magic damage to hurt the Demonette frontline that could be here. 2 Dark Shards, some Dread Spears, and then 2 Blackguard of Naggarond. No mobility whatsoever. The Dark Elf's just going to try and grind through it. On the other side, no scantily clad ladies on the front line for Slaanesh. Just raw Chaos Warriors and Chosen with Hell Scourges. You have the Mirror Guard, Prince Sigvald, 1 spawn, but then on the flanks you get some of what you're looking for. We have an Alluress, the Shoxxy special. Nobody else in the world takes the Slaanesh demonic hero, but Shoxxy does, and then she also has her Eternal Entourage Escort, and then 2 Marauder Horsemen of Slaanesh with their Skirmish Cav. Witch Elf frontline is now colliding, and Hellebron is gunning for that area. Now, this is actually kind of a clever pick into Slaanesh. I don't know if it's the most... I don't know if it's the strongest. I actually just don't know. But if she throws down all of her giant melee attack buffs for Witch Elves, the Chosen of Slaanesh with the Hell Scourges and the Chaos Warriors also just rely on really high melee defense, which if Hellebrand can buff these guys up, then their melee attack can actually get through them. And the Witch Elves are crushing these Chaos Warriors. Holy crap. The ones near Hellebrand anyway. The ones over here, no, they seem to be doing okay, I guess. Rampaging front line. And Hellebrand has not chucked any buffs down so far. There's one. There's the Gaze of Cain. So up to 72 melee attack for those guys. And the Chaos Warriors only have 49 melee defense. So they will start taking significant damage. But the Eternal Entourage are here. And it's very hard for Spearmen to get between them and their foes, especially when they get hit with a Lash of Slaanesh that knocks them out of formation. But they are going to focus on the Dark Shards, which is pretty smart. We'll get onto those guys. Hopefully they can kill them quickly, though the Eternal Entourage is much better at killing large targets than infantry. They tend to just knock infantry around. There goes a Burning Head through some of the Chaos Warriors. Their heavy armor should keep them safe. And actually, I think that might do more damage to these Witch Elves than it did to the Chaos Warriors. Thankfully, they try to dodge and still take a lot of damage. Hellebrand is dueling Sigvald. If you saw our Warhammer Olympics, you'll know that Hellebrand can actually fuck up Sigvald in record time. He is very much in danger. Balance of power and damage values are both extremely equivalent right now, but this is a crucial moment because Sigvald cannot beat Hellebrand. She will mess him up. Unless she does this. Apparently she's just pushing him instead of ever attacking him whatsoever. So take that, I guess. Pavane of Slaanesh is trying to rampage her and the Eternal Entourage are coming. Oh no. This could turn into a disaster. Will you be doing more lore videos? Yes, CJ. Remind me to talk about that in the next build screen. I can't right now, but... Oh, this is terrible. Eternal Entourage catch out Hellebrand, who wasted all of her time, not the player's fault, just jank, but wasted all of her time. Instead of killing Sigvald, she just walked after him like a dumbass. Now, the Dark Elves' front line is still winning, but losing Hellebrand outright is going to be a big, big loss for them. Horsemen of Slaanesh are now being used as melee units trying to shut down the Dark Shards, and Blackguard being forced into service against the Chosen of Slaanesh. That could be a GG, though. His father Ramsey loses his lord. And a really nice Lash of Slaanesh. It's 4 clumped up units getting decent damage out of a spell. It's really not known for its damage here. Dude, I told you though, Sakura. Did I not tell you? I said the Eternal Entourage are much better at killing a large target. As you said, they got a rear charge onto some Dark Shards that did 0 damage, but they insta-killed Hellebrand. So they're good at stuff, just very specific stuff. With this, the Dark Elves seem to be out of sorts. I mean, we still have a full health Seeker, Alluress and Sigvald. A full health Spawn that hasn't even joined the fight yet. And then some Skirmish Cav running down stuff. For the Dark Elves, they still have a Caster. She's doing okay. They still have some Blackguard around. Both of them are healthy, but everything else is looking a little worse for wear. Dark Shards continuing to fire out. But that is brutal. Eternal Entourage is going to dive back into these Dark Shards, get a little bit of damage on them. And I don't know what the Dark Elves even have that can kill Sigvald anymore. Man, Hellebrand just walking around the Sigvald is so sad. See, he got his revenge for his defeat in the Olympics. Feels bad, man? Yeah. Because we saw there, Phoenix King had Hellebrand, though to be fair, he had her on a horse. But Hellebrand, with all of her buffs, killed Sigvald in the fastest time out of anyone. Hellebrand is still best girl, if you say so. Eternal Entourage going to chase off some Dark Shards. And then we are down to just the Hellebrandi and then both Blackguard. Trying to fight against Chaos Warriors and Chosen. Both Spawn helping out a little bit. They are reducing their melee stats by, what is it, 5 and 5 for this thing? Yeah. 5 and 5 whenever they get attacked. The Alluress is on the hunt with 100 speed versus the 92 of the Sorcerer. She should be able to catch up. And there's army losses. Game 2 goes to Shoxxy and Slaanesh. Boop. Hellebrand 700 value. Blackguard not a ton for either of them. Witch Elves did okay on the front line. Mixed overall, but fine. Dark Shards did well. And that's that. Sigvald did okay. Chosen of Slaanesh did fine. Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh mixed, leaning negative. Eternal Entourage 2,400 value. The Allurist did fine. The Marauder Horseman did fine. GG. As for the lore videos, yes. Looks to me like Hellbrand had a movement order that happened in Snag's Sequel more than attack order. Gotcha. Game 3. Oh, yeah, you're right. They got the second point, but yes, you're right. Anyway, the lore stuff. Yeah. So the problem with the lore thing is I read the entire War of the Beard, and I had nothing to say about it. So that is going to put a serious delay on the next lore video. Because that is 1,000 pages with nothing in it. I really tried. I thought this over because I felt bad reading a book and not doing any content on it, but, like, there's just nothing to say. The War of the Beard is fine, and it's a good read. I don't regret reading it. I would rate it positively for anybody who wants to read it. The problem with doing a video on it is it's like, it is just a list of events. There's very little through line. There's very few characters we care about. None of the characters show up in Total War Warhammer, so that's also not really a good through line for us. It's just tough. Because, like, the lore video would just be me going through every single event that happened. It's like, and then the battle of this happened, and the dwarves won. And then the battle of this happened. The high elves won that one. And then the battle of this happened. The dwarves won. The battle of this happened. High elves won that one. I can't find a way to make it concise. So it was good. It just would make a good video unless I read the book to you. Give me a summary sometime. Maybe we can come up with some stuff. Okay. I guess I know Throg the Troll King's lore, but I only know his non-end time stuff. I would have to read his end times. Most of my lore videos I've done without reading the end times because the end times are bad. Like Malice, I did specifically an end times video because that was funny and I had a lot to say on it. But yeah. The one thing I will say on the War of the Beard that doesn't take up a whole video, but is kind of funny while we wait for the next build. So you know the dwarves, right? The dwarves are known for one thing. Writing everything down and remembering. And there's a Tzeentchian demon in this book that keeps pretending to be a dwarf from Carrickzorn, but it's a specific dwarf. Like, it's not like a dwarf. It's like, his name is, I believe it's Zoltan or something. Zorden? Zorban? Something. Doesn't matter. Let's call him Zorban for this. So he's this dwarf that people recognize. And he's not even remaining anonymous at all. He's hanging out with the High King's son. So everybody knows who this fucking guy is. And he does some sneaky stuff in the first third of the book. It's fine. Like, that part's fine. I have no issue with it. Then here's where I start having issues with it. So he goes, he tells the dwarves how to make Blue Fire of Tzeentch. You and I know what it is. The dwarves don't know what it is way back then. But he tells them how to make Blue Fire of Tzeentch grenades. And they're used to kill dragons. So the dwarves get up into a ship I'm just going to call the Hindenburg. The dwarves get into the Hindenburg and start throwing blue fire grenades at dragons. That doesn't sound like a great idea, and it wasn't, and the Hindenburg blew up with all the dwarves on it. And the captain was Drogathur, the Tzeentchian dwarf. The Tzeentchian dwarf was the captain. Everybody knew that. The king who ordered it made, the king of Carrick Bar, gave it to the Tzeentchian dwarf as a thank you for creating the blue fire. So everybody knows he's on that ship. Everybody waved goodbye to him as he flew that ship away. And then the ship blows up midair. All hands are lost. So anyway, the next chapter, that dwarf shows up and gives some bad advice. And no one, not a single dwarf, who their whole thing is writing down who dies where and whose fault it is, not a single dwarf goes, hey, wait, weren't you dead? And we're the only race in the world that would definitely know that. Nah, dude, it's chill. Okay, what was the advice you have? Go to this elven city and use some of my blue fire of Tzeentch on them. I mean, blue fire of dwarven goodness on them. Oh, okay. Hey, we did that and a lot of, like, war crimes happened. Would you know why war crimes happened? Nope, no idea. Anyway, I'm gonna sail this boat out into the middle of nowhere with all of this blue fire on it. I'm gonna blow myself up. Okay. Write that down in the book that he blew himself up on a ship in front of all of us. I can't. Why? In his section, it already said he blew up a Zeppelin in front of all of us. We'll write it down next to that. I don't see a problem. He's dead twice. I don't care about that. And then he shows back up in the next chapter with the High King of the Dwarves. The High King. And then an army from Bergvar who saw this man blow up in the Hindenburg. And then they saw him blow up in a ship. These specific dwarves that have seen him die twice show up and he's advising the High King and they go, Lit, he's here. What do you mean, Lit, he's here? He should be dead twice. You should care about that. And then one of them, a rune lord who never saw him die, shows up, looks at him weird and goes, you guys know that's a Tzeentchian demon, right? And all the dwarves are like, what? And then he goes, guess the jig's up. He turns into a giant demon, he tries to fly away, and then they fight him and they have a big epic fight. But like, you watched him die twice, and it never occurred to you to ask him about that. Or to maybe think that something was fucked up with that. Or the mysterious dwarf that came from nowhere and offered you blue fire of Tzeentch wasn't such a good guy. And maybe if he survives a couple giant infernos, he might be, I don't know, a demon. Now, Human Boy, maybe the dwarves haven't heard of demons. The dwarves have heard of demons. The dwarves and elves' only enemy before each other was demons. You know what they fought all the time? Demons. You know what was all over the place? Demons. You know what the elves and the dwarves, the people that didn't want the war to happen, were trying to stop the war from happening? Because they're like, hey guys, if we're fighting each other, who'll fight the demons? The demons. There's demons everywhere. You guys know about demons. When a dwarf survives a bunch of giant blue fireballs, maybe ask a question. Hey, where did he come from? Is he a demon? That was the only part of the whole book I had any strong feelings about. It was just maddening. It was maddening. Like, literally, he would talk to characters who watched him die, and they wouldn't bring it up. They wouldn't even mention it. They'd just be like, oh, hey, Drogbar's here. Where was the last time I saw you? Oh, yeah, 3 miles in the air in an explosion. So if the explosion didn't kill you, the fall certainly did. Well, I need to formulate my first sentence to you in 6 years. How do you think we'll deal with these elves? Nailed it. That's the important question. How do you think we'll deal with these elves? Not how are you here? Why are you alive? Where did that blue fire come from? How do you keep having blue fire even though you haven't had a workshop in a while? Are you just carrying blue fire around with you? Hey, you seem to have an awful lot of those grenades despite not having a backpack of any kind. No, none of those. How do we deal with the elves? That's my question. Oh, what's that? They're archers and spearmen. They're going to stand behind their walls and shoot at us? Oh, I couldn't have guessed that. Thank you for your advice. You're so wise. Stupid. Didn't Tzeentch also cause the two to fight one time because of his demon stole some silver apples? I don't know about that one, CJ. Not that I doubt you, I just literally don't know. I haven't read that story. So the dwarves had the only, like, plot hole. The elven side was just the elves were debatably evil. And I know, like, there's a lot of dwarf haters and a lot of elf lovers around my chat, but, like, sorry, them's the facts. The elves were definitely the bad guy. Both sides had some serious fuck-ups in the War of the Beard, sure, but the elves were the bad guy in that story. How's the stream going so far? Good, good. We are 3 games into a best of 7. Skaven Dark Elves getting set up now. Just talking about some lore stuff. But yeah, the High Elves have this king at the time who's like crazy prideful, and the dwarves show up. So the dwarves show up to talk about the current tensions between their 2 races, and they want to broker a peace agreement. And then the High Elf King greets them and says, I think you guys look better in the mud, not on my, like, marble floors, so kiss my ass. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll leave. And then he has the diplomats seized, cuts off their beards, because he says they look better that way, and then, like, tortures and kills a few of them, and sends the other ones back as a message. Yeah, the High Elves were the bad guys. I'm sorry. There's not really an argument about this. They were the bad guys. What did the dwarves do? Got kind of mad when you raided a couple of their caravans and blamed you for it. They burned down a city after you attacked them. Okay, what did you do? Committed the gravest dishonor to their diplomats, then tortured and murdered those diplomats, sent any that you didn't torture and murder back as a warning, and then you killed their prince. Oh, okay, cool. Then in the middle of the war, what'd you do? Well, the dwarves called on some more dwarves to come over and fight willingly, of their own will. Okay, what did the High Elves do? Enslaved merworms with magic and forced them to commit suicide on the gates of a hold to get through the hold. And then when dragons... This actually happened. When dragons watched you do that to merworms, which are close to them in, like, biological relation, the dragons went, huh, you guys might not be the good guys. And the dragons left. So you enslaved some dragons with magic, the ones that hadn't left yet. You enslaved them because you were worried they might leave. And you turned your longest ally over the course of aeons into mindless slaves that you torture whenever they don't burn dwarves to death. The High Elves were the bad guys. They just were. I'm saying, if you read The War of the Beard, they just were. They were by far the bad guys. Did he claim to have grenades, or was he just casting spells? He was handing grenades to people. They were just glass cylinders with blue fire inside. Wasn't this when Malekith and Dark Elves were growing to be a thing? Yeah, the Sundering had already happened, so Malekith was in Nagaroth at this point, and the High Elves were fighting a war on two fronts. So that's the give and take. I will say the High Elves were the bad guys. I also say the High Elves definitely would have won if they weren't also fighting the Dark Elves on multiple flanks. But they were fighting a war on two fronts, and they were kind of half-assing it with the dwarves, and then the dwarves rallied and beat the shit out of them, and the High Elves were like, oh, wait, we might have to take this seriously. Never mind, we lost. So they didn't... The High Elves never got to rally their full force, or they would have beaten the dwarves. They just factually would have. It's not even close. It was a close fight between, like, a third of the High Elves and the entire Dwarven force. Alright. I got dropped. Y'all crash, or just me? The dwarves are guilty too. You can't feel sorry for the victim. It all depends on the point of view. Yeah, but that's kind of my point, is like, when the dwarves do something wrong, it's like a little greedy or something, or vengeful. And when the High Elves did something wrong, they enslave dragons, which have been mentors and, like, father figures to the High Elves since the beginning of that race. And I'm like, wow. That is some difference. That is some difference in punishment. Okay. Shoxxy, I'm frozen. Gotcha. I got dropped. Father Ramram says he thinks everyone got frozen. I'm going to hop back in here and see if it's him sitting here. Alright, yeah. Shoxxy, I'm sending you the code on Discord. We should get back into game pretty quickly because both sides should just take the exact same builds. So sorry about the delay. Yeah. Though, I will say another interesting thing about the High Elves, like, not to just rip on them, is in the War of the Beard, the dwarves had this really funny double-think mentality that was kind of great, where they would, like, chuck... So, literally, the not the Phoenix King, but, like, the Vice Phoenix King was fighting some dwarves, and he said, hey, I respect you guys. Don't come near this city. Or don't come near the city or dragons are going to fly out and murder you. You've been warned. Like, just saying, we have dragons in here. You know what dragons are. You know how powerful they are. They're going to come out and kill you. And at this point in time, you don't have gunpowder. So you have no cannons, no thunderers, no iron drakes, no trollheimer torpedoes. You have nothing. You have crossbows to stop these dragons. Don't come near our city or you'll die. And then the dwarves, 10,000 dwarves march up to the city. The dragons come out, kill 6,000 of the 10,000 dwarves in the first, 10 minutes of the fight. And the dwarves run away, and they write the elf who warned them's name in the Great Book of Grudges as a lion, thieving, stinky elf. And I'm like, what? He did not lie, and that isn't a writing mistake. Like, when I was saying what about the Tzeentchian guy, that's a writing mistake. This is just, classic dwarves. But it's so funny to watch him be like, hey, fucking lying, cheating elf. He knew if he told us about the dragons in the city, we would attack it, and then the dragons would come out of the city and kill us. He knew that. He knew that, and he warned us, so that's on him. So they write Imladric's name in the Great Book of Grudges, and then they're like, oh, these fucking high elves. Oh, how dare they kill all of our warriors that we marched at their city to kill them, but when they kill us, it's not okay. And they had some Skaven-like tactics. It was very, very often in the War of the Beard that the battle was just 60,000 dwarves charged 500 elves, and they took 30,000 casualties. I'm like, oh my god. Some of the casualty figures would make the Skaven blush. It was so bad. Oh, God. So yeah, it was a good book. I just don't have, a concise thing to say, is where that eventually went. Meanwhile, Dark Shard's lol skill issue. True. Alright, Shoxxy's build looks reconstructed. We're back into it. We'll see if we crash again. Oh, another thing I could mention from the War of the Beard that I thought about making a video on, but I'm sure some people would be very mad at me, is the War of the Beard omnibus is very fucked up with the lore of the Wood Elves. I don't think it's canonical with the rest of Warhammer, because if the War of the Beard is to be believed, legitimately, 100%, I am not fucking with you, Wood Elves are zombies. Zombies. Literal undead zombies. Not just oh, he means they're brainless slaves of the forest. No, they're dead elves. At the end of the War of the Beard, there's kind of this mystery that's going on with some of the characters you've been following. And any elf that died in the War of the Beard was resurrected, and they were kind of confused when they came to, but they knew they wanted to go to the forest. So apparently Wood Elves are forest spirits that get slammed into dead elven bodies and reanimate them. And then, the forest calls them back, so it's not it's not the elf you remember, it's something inhabiting its body. And I'm reading this, I'm like, what the fuck? Wait, this is not how, what? And I checked the other Wood Elf lore I know, and I'm like, no, okay, this isn't a thing. Wood Elves are not elf puppets that have died being piloted by the forest, no. What the fuck? No. They're just living, normal elves that have been raised by the forest and, swore oaths to it and stuff. But they're not literal zombies. Because there's this dark elf, he's a side character, whatever. But the dark elf gets in a fight on this mountaintop, he falls off the mountaintop, he hits his head several times as he goes down, and he ends up mangled at the bottom and he's dead. And then he wakes up 3 chapters later and he's like, wait, I was dead. How am I not dead? And also, I really want to go to the forest now. And all of his injuries like magically heal themselves and just goes into the forest. And he forgets everyone he used to know. He forgets like his own language. He's speaking a language he doesn't recognize. It's fucked up. With Thrones of Decay, what units do you think dwarves will get? Probably Malachi Mycosson as a engineer lord. I've read a lot of dwarf lore by now because they're in fucking everything, and still I don't think any character comes as close to him as being lord material. So I think Malachi Mycosson's going to be the lord. I could also see you getting a generic engineer lord. And then if you get Malachi Mycosson, you're probably going to get the Thunder Barge. And considering we already have the Sky Junk in the game, that's pretty reasonable. And then Rune Golems. After reading about Rune Golems, we're 100% going to get them. They're very easily transported into Total War. Just take Kroxigor models and turn them all metallic and you'll be fine. So that'd be my guess. Thunder Barge, Rune Golems, Malachi Mycosson, generic Engineer Lord, and then, I don't know, probably like an infantry unit. But we have a game, so I'll shut up. Alright, for Shoxxy and the Dark Elves, we have a Dreadlord Sword and Crossbow with his volley of dark arrows, so it's pretty much just a Wood Elf Glady. Crows of Cain, other Harpies, we have triple Blackheart Corsair Handbows, 2 Witch Elves, 2 Cold One Knights, the Sign of Red Rune, Bloodrack Medusa, and then a Burning Head Caster with Cascading Firecloak too. On the other side for the Skaven, a front line of Skaven's slaves, 4 Rat Ogres in the back. We have a Packmaster, the Thing, Hell Pit Abomination, Regiment of Renown, a Greyseer with Crack's Call and Howling Warp Gale, and then the Avalanche Mortars and 2 Globes. Now that there are mods that add a new world map, do you think a mini camp about the War of the Beard could work? Oh, a mini campaign? Maybe. Just be a bunch of High Elves versus Dwarves. Could happen. Blackheart Corsair crossbows trying to fire at Skaven slaves. They won't do damage nearly quickly enough to out DPS the Skaven, as the Avalanche Mortars are ready to yeet us, delete us, yet another of the Dark Elf units. Say goodbye to your pretty little crossbows. Half HP in one volley, even a little bit more. Now the Harpies and Cold Knights are trying to get some stuff done. The Poison Wind Globes did almost kill off those Cold Knights entirely. We'll need for the Dragon Lord and the Bloodrack Medusa to get in here to do real damage. Crows of Cain also get killed off, it looks like by a mix of globes and their own friendly fire. And the Dark Elves are having a real shit time with this one. Father Ramsey up quite a bit of value. Witch Elves being the only melee infantry there is. One is in a fight right now getting hit with globes and going to tear out Offsun from the Thing being nearby. The other one is getting hit with Avalanche Mortars. Fortunately, the Siren of Red Rune does pop her whale without being in the middle of anybody just yet, so that is a bit of a misplay. And this Dragon Lord is being rather passive, which is leading to their whole army dying while he cautiously watches on. I think this is going to be a pretty quick GG for the Skaven. Just a lot of DPS coming in. I actually wonder who wins between the Thing and the Bloodrack Medusa. ROR. The easy answer would be the Thing, because it has healing twice the health pool and it's anti-large duelist, but he's also terrible. So, 50-50. Another of the mysterious lag spikes that sometimes happen and then go away for the entire game after that. Burning Head going to go down the line of some Skaven slaves and the Avalanche Mortars. The Avalanche Mortars will take next to no damage from that because they're just very, very spread out and don't have a lot of models. Sign of Red Rune is in the fight with the Thing, but it gets teamed up on by the Packmaster, and it'll definitely lose that 2v1. There's really nothing left for the Dark Elves here. Trying to get another Breath Attack out, but their Dreadlord is just getting stun locked by the Poison Wind Globes, which is absurd. But I guess it's just the world we live in now. There's his little Breath Attack, not that it matters too much. Balance of Power is already tipping into Army Losses territory, and I do not disagree. Dark Elves only have their Dragon Lord left. Casters at half HP, Bloodrack Medusa's at half HP, and everything else is literally dead. Bloodrack Medusa getting laid out by the Thing. And that should take us to 2-2. Should. Go, Thing, go. 500 value. Always trying. saying, did you just knock her over? Yeah, you just knocked her over. You didn't even hit her. Is he gonna swing? Oh, he swung! And he hit! Good boy. What a good boy. Firecaster routes off. And now Packmaster plus some Rat Ogres are going to deal with this Dreadlord. And I think if they get like 2 solid hits on him, army losses will tip. And then it'll just call it for the Skaven. There's 1. And there's like 2. There's the 3rd. Alright, 3 hits and no army losses. I guess I just suck at this. Thing still trying to hunt down the Bloodwrack Medusa. The Whale of Malice protecting her a little bit, but not a lot. Damage value is now just 2-1, but that is going to be army losses. Say goodbye to the Dark Elves. Skaven 2-0 on the day. Dark Elves 0-2. What a good day. It's a good day to be alive. Dun, dun, dun. Boop. 2-2. Value. A lot on the Avalanche Mortars. And then the Poison Globes also got a ton. Rat Ogres did fine. The Thing and the Packmaster did okay, considering it was a short game. The other side, Dreadlord, 1900 value. Pretty good, though. I think it was mostly off of breath attacks. Bloodwrack Medusa and the Burning Head Sorcerer didn't do very much. Everything that was a multi-entity model got wrecked. That is GG. Oh. 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 I am getting sleepy. And whose fault is that? Holy crap. There are 13 people in my server playing games right now. What the hell? Look at this. Look at this shit. How many people are in here?
Losing.
What the hell are all you people doing?
And then Walk's super good too with the
Si, signore.
Yeah.
I think it's more that Kairos got banned.
Who's there?
Hola, senor.
Buon
Oh my goodness.
¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó?
Why are you guys here? Get out.
Buenas noches.
Whoa. This is a Spanish Discord, but don't you know that?
You're a
Hola, amigo.
Muchacho, no
Hola,
arranques.
Easy.
Hola, amigos. Spiky, pointy boots. What are you talking about?
Okay, Coops, I think I'm ready.
I'm almost there.
Alright. Well, if you ever need a game, that's the place to go find it. We have D-Gens. We have D-Gens galore hanging out in our servers. Slime's in the chat. What the hell? Your boy second most popular streamer on his own stream? Yeah. $13 all in the same game? No, I doubt it. Who would you let babysit your kid? A dwarf or a high elf? Dwarf. No, actually high elves. High elves. Memes aside, high elves will probably educate your kid pretty good, and the dwarves will probably take your kid drinking. So, I'd rather risk my kid becoming a nerd than bringing him home drunk to his mother as like an 8-year-old. Father Ramsey all of a sudden hovering Slaanesh. Shoxxy flips over to Khorne. Are we actually getting the Khorne Slaanesh match? Because this can be interesting. Back when Game 3 first launched, no Mortal Empires. So you just had the base Game 3 factions. Khorne versus Slaanesh was one of the very few land battle matchups that was actually considered interesting. This was before the Champions of Chaos DLC too. So there's no Skirmish Cav. And there was no Marauders, no Chaos Warriors. Slaanesh had Marauders, but like Khorne didn't. So the rosters were extremely limited, and it was just this crazy melee bash where Slaanesh's Hellstriders and Chaos Spawn tried to kill off Khorne's Exalted Bloodletters and Minotaurs. It was weird. It was a weird time. But Father Ramsey's been sitting on Slaanesh for a while. He's starting to build a build. Looks real. Shoxxy's a legend. It's official. This build is the best build of all time. Oh! Big yawn. Mono Gods before Warriors of Chaos supplements are pretty skinny rosters. Skinny is one way of saying it. Teeny tiny trash is another way. I can appreciate that Game 3 launched with 7 rosters, while Warhammer 2 launched with 4. But out of those 7 rosters, only like 1 was any fun. Ogres. Kislev was dog shit, because most of their tactics revolved around bear blob spam with healing in Zargard. That shit was awful, if you remember that. Heart of Winter was the only spell they ever took. It was terrible. It was a terrible time to play Kislev. Cathay was just as toxic as you remember them being. They also hard blobbed with Harmony and shit. Back when you had 2 of those War Compasses for all the free spells, and then you had Miao Ying with healing and Talons of Night. That was terrible. Tzeentch was actually just bad, which was funny, because now Tzeentch is really good, but Tzeentch back in the day was just bad. Ogres were pretty bad. And then Nurgle, Slaanesh, and Khorne, if you brought a melee blob box build, they just lost. It was all awful. Land battles before Immortal Empires was actually just dog shit content. Which 3 factions do you think will be in the DLC after Thrones of Decay? If CA's prolonging this, then it'll be Slaanesh, blank, and blank, and then the next one will be Khorne, blank, and blank. And I think that's what they're probably going to do. So I'm thinking it'll be Slaanesh, not Khorne. So then what? Might be Slaanesh, High Elves, Dark Elves, if they want to go really thematic. But if they're going with the rosters who need it the most, then probably be Slaanesh. They wouldn't do Norska. They don't want to do a DLC race. They need to do a race that already exists in the base games. Slaanesh Vampire counts. And I could see them doing another Greenskin, though the Greenskins don't need it. So it might be Slaanesh Vampire counts. High Elves. Maybe. Could be Slaanesh Vampire counts Greenskins, though I don't know what the Greenskins even need. I know a couple of Lords they could use, or Lords and Heroes, but they don't need any other units. I was saying that they could use Nasty Skulker Riders, so like Armor-Piercing Wolf Riders for a decent cost, probably like $750. That could be fun. But anyway. After now listing all of the options uselessly, you asked me which I think is going to happen. I think it's probably going to be Slaanesh, Dark Elves, High Elves. I think that would make the most sense. And the High Elves could use some more units. They have a big roster, but when you really break it down, there's not a ton of unit variety in there. Oh, but there's so many monsters. There's phoenixes, there's dragons. It's just different color shades of them. They have 2 monsters. Okay. They're not great. Oh, but they have so much cavalry. They have 3. Illyrian Reavers, Silverhelms, Dragon Princes. There's just shielded and unshielded, and then there's Illyrian Reaver Archers or Illyrian Reavers, but again, it's just the same cav. All their spearmen. They have 3 different kinds of fucking spearmen. Spearman, Silver Guard, Phoenix Guard. It's just spearmen. The Rangers are dog shit. White Lions are actually good. Swordmasters are pretty bad. They don't even have a lot of archers. I don't know. The High Elf roster is very inflated. It's not actually as full as you'd think it is. I think a High Elf DLC could be good. I honestly don't know who their lord would be. That's the one thing, is the High Elf lords are stacked. They have tons of their lords that are in the lore. But units that they really need, there's a ton. You could do Alpha Lion or something. Like a single entity White Lion. Make it bigger. Give it the Jet or Jade Lion models. Could be good. Because they could use some more monsters. They could use an armor-piercing cav variant. Which would be nice. Besides just spamming Dragon Princes and hoping for the best. Excuse me. They could use an Aspiring Champion. Unit type model, so like... Make it, Damn it, what's that thing? Kothic. Yeah. Have a unit called, like, Mages of Kothic or something, and it's an Aspiring Champion style, so it's a unit with only 12 models in it. But each of the models is a little mage, and they're hybrid, because this game loves hybrid infantry, so just do that. Their range attack is magic and fire damage dealing, and it's just kind of multicolored blue fire of Tzeentch, but with explosion. Just do that. Like, take the blue horrors or pink horrors firing model, change that to be a mix of like blue, yellow, green, and red, okay? And then give them the impact damage of Vampire Coast bombers, maybe with some armor piercing. But then you're only throwing 12 of them, so the damage is not going to be insane. But then if you go to fight them, they have pretty decent melee stats. Probably heavy on the damage, light on the defense. That kind of thing. That could be fun. Give them some more infantry options that's not weak to Burning Head. Because that's the biggest problem with the High Elf aggressive infantry right now, is they're all weak to the same shit. Like Swordmasters of Hoeth, cool. 1 Pendulum or 1 Burning Head later, you just lost a 1,300 gold unit. Thanks, idiot. So they could be good. Maybe even give them bound spells, like give them a bound Earthblood, a bound Fireball, a bound Harmonic Convergence. Little spells like that. Could be fun. It'd have to be an expensive unit, of course, but it'd be interesting. Dear God, I hope Norse goes specifically for their campaign. Yeah, I don't know if they would release a DLC that includes Slaanesh, which is a base game faction, and then, like, let's say Vampire counts as a base game faction, and then an update for Norska. And then how does that work? You know? If you buy this DLC, do you get access to Norska, or do you have to already have Norska? And if you don't already have Norska, what units do you get? Because then why would you ever buy the Norska DLC? Do you get the Norska roster and you just get whatever lord came with this DLC, the special units and marauders, but you don't get like skin wolves and mammoths? Because the Norska roster is already tiny as shit, so where do you divide it up? So that'd be tough. If you're just talking about merit, Norska needs the DLC the most, so you'd probably want to do Slaanesh, Norska, and Vampire Counts. That would be my ideal DLC. I don't think it's going to happen, which is why I think it's going to be High Elves, Dark Elves. Slaanesh, Khorne, and Ogres. Slaanesh, Khorne have special hatred for their Ogres, especially gluttonous. Yeah, Nud, that's smart. But I think they're saving... Because they've done a mono god for each DLC, so I think they're going to keep with that. So I think Khorne has his own DLC coming. Eagles? Eagles are just phoenixes without magic, but you've got me, punk. Slime, for sure. Norsca and Khorne need help. I just don't know if CA will pull the trigger on doing a double DLC race. In a DLC that's not focused on Norska. Balk. Assyrian's chosen to be an RR Phoenix card. That could be cool. Mr. Frodo, the Eagles are here. Or are they Phoenixes? It's hard to tell. They're all the same model. Alright. We're into game. Slaanesh versus Khorne on a small map. This should be a short game. For Slaanesh and Father Ramsey, we have a Demon Prince of Slaanesh with Phantasmagoria, the net plus minus leadership, and then Enfeebling Foe for more stat debuffs. Then he has his various melee debuffs. Fiendish Musk. He also has Soporific Musk if he hits you. So a lot of debuffs on this guy. Oh, and then the Paragon of Excess. Yeah, so he has 3 different passive debuffs if he gets into melee combat with you. Spooky Scary. Speaking of Spooky Scary, we have 2 Fiends of Slaanesh and a Chaos Knight for some mobility. Fiends could do very well here. Magic damage to get through Flesh Hounds if they encounter them. Otherwise, an insane armor-piercing stat to kill off heavier knights. Then we do have some Devoted Marauders with spears, including the Princes of Perfection, Regiment of Renown, and then a front line of Hell Scourges. Cool. And the Eternal Entourage, Heartseekers, Regiment of Renown. The other side, 4 Shoxxy and Khorne. 2 Fleshhounds of Khorne on one flank, none on the other. Ah, there's 2 more Fleshhounds way in the distance. Gotcha. So 4 total. Do have the Knights of the Brazen Throne, Skullcrushers Regiment of Renown. The big buff boys. Scarbrand! He was behind the blocker from the very start. Shoxxy grabbed Scarbrand and then started making a build. But I was very excited to see him. He is my favorite looking lord of all the Game 3 lords. I love Scarbrand. He sucks. But I love him. I love taking him, and then I lose, and then I get really mad, and I get salty. Then we have Bloodletters, Chosen of Khorne, and 2 Spawn. So Khorne going very narrow, mobile heavy, relying on their single entities. For Slaanesh, much more infantry, and then a heavy cav presence. I actually don't know who's going to win here. I think if Slaanesh can win the mobile fight, they can win the game. That is a tall ask. I never believe in infantry to carry a late game, so if it just comes down to some Marauders and the Demon Prince of Slaanesh versus a bunch of Fleshhounds and Knights of the Brazen Throne, then Khorne wins. Pretty easy. Scarbrand's trying to pick a fight. If he can get that AoE Rampage down? Wow, he didn't bring it. Okay. Good for you, then. Does not have his AoE Rampage, but the Knights of the Brazen Throne do take a fight with the Eternal Entourage. And both sides taking a lot of damage, but Scarbrand is here to play. Chucks his axe down, gets a big chunk of damage off in the Eternal Entourage. And a rear charge from Fleshhounds will seal their fate, but the Fiends of Slaanesh trying to kill the Knights of the Brazen Throne too. All the debuffs are here from the Demon Prince of Slaanesh. -5 melee attack and melee defense for these guys. Though actually the Demon Prince is just going to fuck off. Doesn't want anything to do with this for now. Does chuck down an Enfeebling Foe. Bring these guys to a pathetic 23-21 melee stats. On the other side, Bloodletters and Spawn are getting into some fights, though Chaos Knights of Slaanesh do not want that fight with Spawn and Chosen at all. They're going to back off here. Back to the Cav fight that actually matters. The Eternal Entourage are real close to that Demonicus ability, and they're holding on for now. Fiends are also getting pretty close. But on the other side, other Fiends have caught Fleshhounds with the Demon Prince, and we'll kill those guys off quite quickly. Scarbrand's trying to get some kills. Eternal Entourage actually managing to pull away without crumbling just yet. I'm shocked they're still in it to win it. Finally, the Fiends get going, as do some Fleshhounds over here. Both sides losing some stuff. Knights of the Brazen Throne took a ton of damage too, so that wasn't free either. And Chaos Knights of Slaanesh get a rear charge onto Bloodletters. Both sides getting good charges down on the infantry, and the Marauders are tearing apart these Spawn. So Khorne is starting to fall behind on the balance of power. Damage value is extremely even, and neither side has any healing, so all of it will stick. Fleshhounds of Khorne go in, but they lose a whole bunch of melee stats from Paragon of Excess and Fiendish Musk and Self-Perfect Musk. They're down to 19 melee attack, and Scarbrand is coming over to say hello. Looks like we have a Phantasmagoria going down that'll lower the leadership of these guys, getting them closer to that Demonic Stability crumbling, but it also should net Scarbrand in place, allowing the Demon Prince to get away. Though the Fiends are looking like they're going to go down despite the support they're getting from the Demon Prince. It's just not enough as the Fleshhounds tear them limb from limb. Slaanesh does still have a Mortal Chaos Knight unit, which is much more stable than our demonic friends. And Scarbrand's going to check out a quick breath attack onto the Road Marauders, and he has 20 kills so far, which means his Slaughter and Carnage is 4% charged. A whopping 4%. I've never shit-talked this ability in my entire life, and I'm not about to start now. Never mind, I hate it. I always shit-talk it all the time. It takes way too fucking long to charge up, and I hate it. Village is great. He's my favorite Tzeentch Lord, for sure. Faux show. More Fleshhounds dying away as Slaanesh is securing that mobility advantage, and we did say the mobility is the key to winning this game. If Slaanesh secures it, they probably win. If Khorne secures it, they probably win. But at this point, I don't think a half-health Fleshhound and an almost dead Knights of the Brazen Throne can really secure anything. I think Slaanesh is in a good position to win this game off of that. We still have a Chosen of Khorne. That's doing okay. The Spawn's going to die pretty soon, and the Fleshhound's also going to die pretty soon. I don't think the Chosen and Scarbrand can carry it. I wish him luck as he dives in, gets a nice axe throw onto the back of the Demon Prince of Slaanesh's head, and the Demon Prince is going to try and get into the sky. Knights of the Brazen Throne never deterred from a good fight at only 8 models and 800 HP between all of them. They are going to charge into the side of these Chaos Knights. The Chaos Knights try to get away, but in the end, they do just have to accept their fate and fight back. They'll kill off the Knights of the Brazen Throne. They're just going to take a little bit more damage than they want to do in the process. Chosen of Khorne, chewing through a lot of these guys, and Slaanesh has lost about 400 models, which means there's probably a Sword of Khorne up. Father Ramsey's going to have to be careful about not blobbing up too much, or the Sword of Khorne could take out like 4 units at once. Who do you think is better, N'Kari or Scarbrand? After N'Kari's buffs from the last patch, N'Kari for sure. For sure. N'Kari has a self-heal, though it's hard to proc. N'Kari is also a caster and a decent melee lord. Scarbrand is just a decent melee lord, but they're priced almost similarly. N'Kari's a little more expensive, but yeah, if you're making me pick, I'd pick N'Kari. I suspect we'll see a Sword of Khorne coming up right about here soon. Unless there have been a bunch of... Oh, there's a Horn of Khorne popped. Maybe Khorne doesn't have it, which would be a bit of a shame. Scarbrand's still trying to get a fight with these Chaos Knights of Slaanesh. He didn't bring his AoE Rampage where he could try and keep them in the fight. That's probably going to cause him some issues. The only thing that could help Scarbrand here is these Marauders really aren't killing machines. It's not like they're going to do a ton of damage to them. The only 2 spear variants are the ones that are mega fucked up. There's no anti-large for him. Chaos Knights of Slaanesh don't exactly want to bump and grind with Scarbrand. He would love to fight them. He would also love to fight the Demon Prince of Slaanesh. Demon Prince with all of his debuffs can be a decent combatant into Scarbrand, but I mean, Scarbrand is a ball of stats. For all the shit I give him about everything, and it is all deserved, he is a ball of motherfucking stats. Slaughter and Carnage is now charged up 24% of the way, which is nothing to sneeze at. It's giving him an extra 25% weapon strength on his already very higher weapon strength. What lord do you think looks the worst? In general, Dark Elf Beastmaster looks really bad. The Dark Elf Beastmaster looks extremely foamed in. Legendary Lord looking the worst. That's a hard one. Legendary Lord. With the stupid hair? Yeah, he just looks dumb. Legendary Lord. That's bothering me, because I feel like I should have a good answer, but I'm thinking. Manfred? Yeah, Manfred doesn't look very imposing at all. He looks pretty dumb. I'll give you that. He looks dumb. Favorite Skaven hero? Lord or hero? Hero, then there's only one. It's Gorage. There's one not in the game, and it's fucking Ska Bloodtail. Ska Bloodtail's a badass. Also, Scarbrand's gonna fucking win this game. I just want to point that out for everybody. Mortal Blow is popped for the Demon Prince of Slaanesh. He's in the fight as the Knights of the Brazen Throne come flying in the background. Phantasmagoria routes off the Chosen, routes off the Knights of the Brazen Throne, even shattering them. But Scarbrand's fucking doing it, you guys. He is crushing fools right now. And if he gets Wrathful Reaper off cooldown, I am alarmed to see what his weapon strength is going to be. Something is happening. It is a fascination. Tier 1 Slaanesh arm ability, rampaging, damaging those Chosen. But yeah, like, Like we said earlier, man, there's no spears or anything that can kill Scarbrand off. He is kind of rolling through them. Does Alistair the White Lion count as a legendary lord? He should be, but he's not for some reason. Gestalten? Do you, don't you? You are actually 100% right. Gestalten looks like shit. You are super correct. Gestalten looks terrible. Yes. For a legendary lord, he's the worst. I know he's supposed to look raggedy, but he doesn't even look raggedy. He looks like he's from a GameCube game. He just looks bad. Okay, we gotta focus up, because this boy is still fighting his lungs out here. 33-21 for melee stats due to all of the debuffs. Enfeebling foe plus all that shit is really whittling Scarbrand down to nothing. But if Scarbrand gets Wrathful Reaper back up, his weapon strength is going to be insane. And if he gets 2 shots in the Demon Prince, he'll like kill him off. Mortal Blow is getting him low. Army losses is getting scarier and scarier for Scarbrand. And we don't have the Sword of Khorne yet, so I hope we at least have the tier 2 army ability that'll make Scarbrand unbreakable to at least resist army losses while he attempts to fight his way out of this bad situation. He's taking more damage. There's army losses. Does he have the tier 2 army ability up? Demonic ability is taking hold. I don't see no ability. And that is looking like it. He got Slaughter and Carnage, 40% charge, 1.1k weapon strength on Wrathful Reaper, but it's just too late for poor little Scarbrand. And he gets whittled away. Anyway, favorite Skaven hero would be Gorge, because he's the only one in the game. Outside the game, Scott Bloodtail. If you meant, like, legendary blank, then Queek, but he sucks. But Queek. I love Queek. Anyway, as for this game, Demon Prince did fine. Both the Heavy Cav of Slaanesh did fine. The Monsters Cav of Slaanesh did not do very good. And then the Marauders, really good value across them. On the other side, Scarbrand actually paid for himself, which is a rarity. Go Scarbrand, go. Chosen did okay. Knights of Rising Throne did fine. Spawn mostly got their shit kicked in, so did the Bloodletters, and then the Fleshhounds of Khorne did okay. But it was Scarbrand trying to carry. Trying is a little hard out. Alright, 3 and 2. If Father Ramsey wins the next game, it is over, and I can go to bed. If Shoxxy wins the next game, then I guess fuck it, I don't get to go to bed ever. Which is fine. Favorite Skaven unnamed single entity non-lord character unit. Wow, that's specific, but the Master Assassin. Master Assassin looks cool as fuck. I think he's awesome. I love his little fencing mask. The weird, like, veil with the chainmail. Shit's awesome. I want to like Throt more than I do, but Throt sucks. Throt is trash. Alright, reminding Father Ramsey to change the map. And what has been played so far? Skaven on both sides, Dark Elves on both sides, Slaanesh on both sides, which is not something I was expecting. And that takes us through 5 games. Well, 3 of the 5 games. So then what is specific? We had Greenskins for Father Ramsey. We had Vampire Coast for Father Ramsey. So I've covered all 5 of his factions. For Shoxxy, we had Warriors of Chaos. No, they hovered that, but they never locked it in. We had Wood Elves. And Khorne. We just had Khorne, of course. We just had Khorne. Is the Hell Pit Abomination slime? How dare you? This is an anti-Hell Pit Abomination channel. I want him to be good, but he's not. He is cool, though. I'll give you that. He's cool. He's a very cool unit. Shoxxy going to try out their Tomb Kings. Their gift from CA. All praise CA for giving free DLC to some of these players. That was nice of them. Whatever you think of anything else they've ever done, it was nice of them to give the DLC to these players. My voice is giving out because I've been sick recently. I'm starting to feel better, but I'm still like exhausted all the fucking time. And I get to go see my brother tomorrow. I'll get him nice and sick. That'll be fun. Vampire Counts versus Tomb Kings. Some people hate this matchup because they hate Undead versus Undead. I actually think Undead versus Undead can be interesting. I'd say the order of interesting and most interesting goes to Vampire Coast versus Tomb Kings. I think that shit bangs. I think that's a really interesting matchup. And then probably Vampire Counts versus Tomb Kings, and then Vampire Counts versus Coast is the least interesting out of the three, but I still think it's pretty good. Mirrors... Tomb Kings mirrors can be interesting. Coast mirrors can be interesting. Vampire Counts mirrors just suck ass. So I think all of the mirrors are below the three other ones. Yeah. So Coast TK... TKVC, VPVC, and then I'd say VPVP, TKTK, VCVC. Anyone know what the Cataclysm spells are? Aren't they for the final quest of the game that no one's ever reached because the normal Vortex campaign, not the Vortex, the normal Chaos Wastes campaign sucks. I couldn't get into that campaign. The original launch non-Immortal Empires campaign. I couldn't do it. People just teleporting, showing up in my lands, then I have to go to Chaos Waste to get a bunch of fucked up shit to happen to me. I don't know. Maybe I just liked the Vortex from Warhammer 2, and then I wish everything was the Vortex campaign. Maybe I'm just closed-minded. Maybe it's me who was wrong. Dude, you know what's the biggest waste of potential? The co-op campaigns that are scenario. Those were... Well, those. The single one. The single one was awesome. There's Something Rotten in Kislev was lit. I loved it. I played it with Sarah and Josh. It was awesome. But it was... The things that sucked about it were, like, you all play one faction. So there's no replay value that you can, like, rotate factions. You're all playing Kislev, so it doesn't matter. And then the only other thing that sucks about it is that there's only one scenario. Like... Ugh, give me more of those. Because I like challenges, and the Kislev one was challenging when you're playing with some friends. But you're all on the same team. If you play the Immortal Empires together, it's still fun, but you're just steamrolling the map together, shooting the shit, talking about life, asking each other how work's been, and things like that. But you're not like actually stressed to survive. The Something Rotten in Kislev, we had several times where it's like, all right, Josh dies this turn unless you and I do something about it. Or in the time we finally won, I think we let Sarah die and then just gifted her a couple cities from our realms. But it was like, okay, Slaanesh will kill you off, but we're going to finish Nurgle up here, and then we don't have to keep fighting a war on 3 fronts. We can fight it on 2 fronts. But yeah, they just never made another one, man. The Get Urson campaign sucks ass. It really does. How is VP versus VC matchup feel like? We never see that. It changes a lot over the metas. Right now, I would say it's very VP favored because counts, in my opinion, are not feeling the best. That is an unpopular opinion, but one I maintain. I do not fear counts at all. Yeah. But it's usually if the counts can grind out healing and cycle charging and spell spam versus the coast. And the coast are either trying to blob super hard with their crabs and just heavily armor their way through problems, or they spread out and gunline you. And right now, VC just doesn't have the DPS to really deal with the crabs, in my opinion. But I've always been on when I do the coast side. I've always been on the idea of spreading out because, I mean, if you blow up, then their Mortis engine is going to get a ton of value, and all of their healing auras just triple up. So why wouldn't you spread out and make them spread out? Blood Knights and Black Knights, I guess, are a problem, but it is what it is. We don't have that, though. We have VC versus TK. Tomb Kings. And this is almost the exact army I cast. This is almost the exact army I just cast today. I was making some videos, and Coop sent in Tomb Kings versus Beastmen. And this was, like, legit the exact army. What the fuck? Hold on, because I know none of you believe me. Replay from Coops and the Central... Dude, look at this shit. That's like the same thing. Kepler Guard, Necropolis Knights, 2 Shopti Great Bows, Kotep, 2 Tomb Guard with Halberds, and then a bunch of Skeleton Horse Archers. Coops' army has 2 Nekara Horsemen and regular skeletons on the front line. It looks like a Shoxxy's had spears on the front line and no horsemen, but like otherwise this is the same build. What the hell? Okay. Cool. So for the Tomb Kings build that you will see in a couple days versus some Beastmen, you have 2 Shopti Great Bows, the Blessed Legion of Flach, 2 Tomb Guard with Halberds, the Kepler Guard, regular Tomb Guards, a front line of Skeleton Spearmen, 3 Skeleton Horse Archers, an Necropolis Knight with Halberds, and DJ Kotep on his DJ booth pumping out some beats. And those beats are the Skullstorm Vortex, which we never see. Petra's Incantation of Righteous Smiting, which I'm trying to bring back. I actually think that spell is low-key good. It's pretty nice. And then the Incantation Protection and the Bound Skullstorm. So we have double Skullstorms. What the fuck, Bok. Oh, CJ. You make me laugh, and for that I appreciate you. On the other side, we have 4 Crypt Horrors, 4 Vargeists, a Vargulf, a Corpse Cart with an Hillstone, Vlad, Van, Karstein with his Summon and Invocation of Heck, and a front line of Zombies. A very monster-heavy Vampire Counts army. Looking at the armies, I don't know who's going to win. I might give a slight favor to the Tomb Kings, though. That Spear front line is going to do work. And then they have 2 Halberds that all those Monstrous Infantry are going to regret dealing with. Unfortunately, the DJ booth is going to be worthless. It's just not going to have a lot to do. So we'll see. Tomb Kings getting nice and spread out. Those who shopped at Great Bows standing ready. And Slime asked earlier what Lord has like the worst model or whatever. One thing I will say is the faction, the DLC with the best care to their models is the Tomb Kings. The Tomb Kings look amazing. Their roster is small, but damn, the models that were made for the Tomb Kings are just incredible. Like, they still look good in Game 3, which is kind of insane. Because there's some Game 1 stuff that if you zoom in on it in Game 3, it looks pretty dated. The Tomb Kings look really, really good. Yeah, I love the Tomb Kings. They look so good. Zombies gonna wander forward in their weird Michael Jackson looking clothes. Cause this is Thriller like Spike. And sometimes this happens when these two start the game and then it gets better about a third of the way get through, but for the first part we have to slog a little bit. The slog is in. Vargeists are teleporting forwards occasionally with their giant fucking manes. Ancient Egypt weebs look eating good. I heard Pharaoh wasn't that good. Oh, he brought up Pharaoh. Oh, now everyone's sad and shit. Grow up. Grow up. So companies sometimes shit the bed. No, Pharaoh sucked. Pharaoh's trash. I'll die on this hill. I'll say the brave things no one else is willing to say. Pharaoh sucks. Crypt horse running forward, looking slimy and weird. Oh god, I thought you guys would be drier. Why are you so wet? Your skin doesn't look like skin. It looks like the skin of a sausage, like ready to burst. All right, crypt horrors are spooky. I don't like them and they gross me out. Look at that guy's dental work. Oh my. What a gross guy. Alright, still struggling through the lag spike. If it's anything like the other games, it'll fade in a bit, and then we'll be fine for the rest of the game, so just hang on. That's how you look in real life? Pog! I definitely have not seen videos of you shoveling snow and know what you look like in real life. So no, I couldn't possibly refute your claim. They're just a bit moist. We're struggling so hard in the lag department. Kotep has fired once. And here he goes for his second shot as we get back to normal speed. Like I said, for some reason, these two just lag for a little bit, and then they get over it for the rest of the game. Don't know why. We're back into normal speed now. Skirmish Cav firing away at zombies. And the second soul bombardment hits some zombies. The Shop to Great Pose are going to have to find their footing and really sit and fire for a bit because they are on a timer. Once those Vargeists close in on them, they are dead. There's nothing the Tomb Kings can really do to peel them from those Vargeists. They just don't have anything that has enough shock damage to deter the Vargeists from diving straight onto your Ushaptis. Necropolis Knights could be a little spooky, but they take time to get their damage out, and killing the Ushaptis is worth it for the Vargeists, especially if you have Vlad in range to offer Invocation and a Hex support that could just get you out of there. I style myself as looking like a mix of Castalton and someone less ugly. Alright. That is not very descriptive because almost everyone on the planet is less ugly than Castalton, so... You look like anyone on the planet. Vargeist running around just trying to avoid taking too much damage before the front line gets here. Kotep's looking to get involved. Not Kotep, Vlad, the other one. As he gets shots with some arrows and stares at his chest. Okay, that's like a horn on his armor. I thought it was actually just an arrow impaling him. I was like, damn, dude, that's a huge arrow. You okay? Vampire counts moving up now. Wait, they were waiting for their zombies to get involved so that their crypt horrors don't just charge into brace spears all alone. That would be a disaster. So trying to get in there. Count's not known for being a fast faction. The crypt horror Kugath look, personally, that's a classy look. Kugath's another good model. Speaking of good models. Crypt horrors piling up on these skeleton spears, but skeleton spears will take a long time to die to those guys. Skellies can be rather tanky to direct melee fire. Oh no. Kotep's under attack by Vlad. Some zombies are summoned to help Vlad out. Not that he really is worried about anything, but he does just want to be protected. And here come the Vargeists diving onto the Blessed Legion of Flach, already taking a quarter of their HP. Other Vargeists going for the Ushapti Great Bows. And this is where it starts to get real spooky to be a Tomb King. As 3 of your precious range units are about to be shut down. Necropolis Knights do charge back in, try and peel these Vargeists off, but Kotep is doing his best to get away from Vlad, and it's not going great for him. The front line's going fine for the Tomb Kings. They're doing fine there, but back line, problems. That's so many Vargeists. They are very useful. Now, they are taking a lot of damage. They're fragile folk, but they've taken half health off an Ushapti over here, half health off the Blessed Legion of Flach. And that Ushapti got peeled by Necropolis Knights, so Vlad's going to have to give them some indications of Nehek if they want to stay in this. Vargulf in the back line, don't know exactly what he's going to be aiming for, but he probably needs to find either Kotep or one of the Ushabti. Incantation of Righteous Smiting is now giving them 40% more ranged damage. The Blessed Legion of Flach once again under attack by Vargeists. And these Vargeists are chasing those Chosen of the Gods way off into the trees, which is fine for them. They need time away from these Tomb Guard with Halberds to heal up. So they're okay with it. Vlad's trying to get back onto Kotep. I think Vlad is faster. Yeah, Vlad is 14 speed faster, so Kotep can't get away even if he wanted to. Tomb King's front line starting to show some cracks here and there. Zombies have taken some damage, and Vlad does throw out the first of his Overcast Invocations in the heck, healing up 2 different Vargeists that are just on the edge of falling away entirely, but he will keep them alive for now. Kotep's starting to crumble just a little bit. We haven't gotten through even all the Tomb King's army passive healing, so wow, he's taking a lot of damage quite quickly. And he did try and use a Skull Storm, but he cancels it for an Incantation of Protection on some Tomb Guard instead to offer himself a little bit of that healing. One Ushabti Greatbow is dead and gone. It is doomed. Blessed Legion of Flach, dead and gone and doomed. There's one Ushabti that's still safe and sound. And some skirmish cav firing around. VC getting through certain parts of the front line. Other areas, Tomb Guard with Halberds are holding just fine. Kotep does look to be dead. He's getting closer and closer to some Tomb Guard who might be able to bail him out, but Vlad is not scared of the Tomb Guard like the Vargeists are, so he should be able to keep up the chase even if they have to fall away. And these Vargeists now done with those Ushabti Greatbows could even just suicide dive onto Kotep and make sure that he gets taken out. Remove the Tomb King's caster and Lord, lower their leadership, all that stuff. Cryptor is breaking into the back line. Skirmish Cav and Necropolis Knights are the only things here nearby to stop them. The Necropolis Knights are kind of between 2 problems. They can either go fight the Vargulf and these other Vargeists and stuff on their left, or on their right they can peel the Cryptors. They do need to make a decision as they're currently just standing, chilling, vibing. Kotep spamming out as many spells as he can to keep that healing up and to give himself some physical resistance. Vlad's trying to catch back up to him. And there is the Ushabti summon, meaning that the Tomb Kings are all out of passive healing from their army ability. And the Ushabti is here. Necropolis Knights streaming in. This could be a good opportunity for the Tomb Kings if Kotep doesn't just outright die. You could isolate and kill 3 Vargeists here. And that could buy you a lot of time. But the Vargulf gets a big hit onto him. He's now crumbling. Crumbling does not care about your physical resistance. It'll keep coming. As these Skirmish Cav and Ushabti Greatbows are cutting away from the Crypt Horrors, who are now very isolated. We'll see if they can even be killed off, though, because they'll beat the Ushabtis in melee combat. They'll be just fine over there. Kotep even chucks out a little Skull Storm to do some extra damage, and he has rallied, so he's getting away, and if he can keep casting spells, he can keep getting healing. Oh yeah, and it is Kotep, so every spell he's cast is resetting Vlad's cooldowns. That's probably why he hasn't got as many invocations of Nehek on his Vargeists as we would like. A lot of his Vargeists are even approaching their heal cap, though, so it's not like Neheks would matter that much. So the Tomb Kings start to come back in this game just a little bit. Some Skeleton Horse Archers end up in melee combat with the Zombies and Crypt Horrors. That is a mistake, and they'll want to get away from here if they can, though it looks like the Tomb Kings player is very distracted. How's this backfield fight going? Ushabti kiting away from the Crypt Horrors with some Sacrificial Horse Archers fighting them. That's going fine. And yes, the Vargulf is not about to let Kotep get away. Lands another big hit onto him, but does not get that crumbling started just yet. Lurches at him again, but doesn't get the hit that time, and another Nero's Incantation of Protection gets him healing once again with a bit of that physical resistance. The Vargulf is now isolated and surrounded by Skeleton Horse Archers. He's getting close to crumbling himself. Vargulfs have strangely terrible leadership. And where are those summoned Ushabti? There they are. So these guys aren't real. They'll fade away. The balance of power will get a little worse for the Tomb Kings. One of their Tomb Guards is getting shut down right now by a giant mass of Crypt Horrors. And how did that backfield fight go? Tomb Kings have it. They'll clean up those Crypt Horrors, and then their Ushabti can come back. Kotep's still trying to get away. Chucks out a bound Skull Storm just to peel for a little bit against these Vargeists who fly straight into it, but the crumbling is back for him, and the Vargeists do get a little bit of damage on the charge, so Kotep is finally dead. No more spells for the Tomb Kings. Their leadership dips, which will make crumbling even easier to trigger. Damage value is very equal, but the balance of power is not. For the Tomb Kings, we have a full health Necropolis Knight. We still have 2 Tomb Guard who are quite healthy. 1 Skirmish Cav who's decently healthy. The other one's taking some damage. And we have a healthy Ushabti Greatbow with tons of ammunition. For the Vampire Counts, we have a Wounded Vargeist nearing its heal cap. 3 Crypt Horrors who are still chilling. A Vargulf and Vlad both at full HP. Yeah, Vargulfs have insanely low leadership. I don't know what their deal is, but they're just like that. Ushabti Greatbow's firing in. Don't know what they're shooting at this moment. Looks like they're shooting at Vlad himself, which is a tough target to hit. And then if you do hit him, he has a lot of self-healing, and even if he feels like it, even has his ring for 60% damage resistance. So he doesn't give a single shit. Crypt Horror that was back there has been fully killed off. As for the Counts, they still have 3 natural zombies, which I'm kind of surprised at this point in the game they have that many natural zombies still left. Necropolis Knights will catch out an isolated Crypt Horror without the corpse card on Holy Lodestone for both the healing and for the +5 melee defense and melee attack plus perfect vigor. These guys will get crushed by those Necropolis Knights. Tomb Guard should be able to hold. I'm worried that the entire Tomb King's army that's left can't kill Vlad. Necropolis Knights should be killing off the Crypt Horrors like they are. They might even swoop in and get another Crypt Horror. But I don't know what kills Vlad. Vlad's just here. Kepragard's heal cap is within sight. And Vargeists in the backfield are going to land on these Ushabti and the Skeleton Horse Archers. Though their HP is so low, I wonder if the Skeleton Horse Archers could just peel them off and maybe even kill them while the Ushabti get away. Not entirely sure. Tomb Guard and Kepragard fighting side by side to kill off more zombies and maybe even hurt the Vargulf a little bit. And the Necropolis Knights now are fighting 2v1 Crypt Horrors, and that's going a little less good for them. And nasty Master Beguilement from Vlad. Vlad, you asshole, not involved in this fight whatsoever, throws -40 melee attack on the Necropolis Knights, just completely fucking them over in this 2v1 that they're in. And that might be GG. The Vargeists are going to get killed in the backfield like we talked about, so the Ushabti will be freed up to do what they want to do again. But without the Necropolis Knights, that's going to be rough. Master Beguilement still has 10 seconds left on it. That was awful. I mean, awful being like awful for the Necropolis Knights. Good play by Vlad. He did great. Crypt Horror is just healing up off the Necropolis Knights now as they stop taking damage because the enemy had 0 fucking melee attack. Ushabti Greatbow's freed up from those last Vargeists and firing into the Vargulf for now. We'll even see the heal cap. The heal cap for Vlad, I strongly bet you won't. He hasn't taken like any damage in this fight so far. Necro Knights, now free of Master Beguilement, actually get a bit of stats back, but they're so low they already start crumbling a little bit. Yeah, and the Crypt Horrors finish them off. That is going to be army losses. And a 4-2 victory to Father Ramsey, so we played 6 out of the 7 possible games. And I get to go to bed. I love going to bed. GG well played to both of our players tonight. Thanks to Shoxxy and Father Ramsey for taking the time. It was a fun series. They had a lot of wild and interesting builds. For the Vampire Counts, Crypt Horrors did great, Vargeists did great, and Vlad did fine. Vargulf did not do very much. On the other side, Kotep had to run for his life, and the Necropolis Knights with Halberds made me eat my words. They did fantastically. Excuse me. Kepragard and other Tomb Guard did fine. Skeleton Spears did fine, and the Skeleton Horse Archers did really, really, really good. GG's to both players. Thanks for all of you who hung out. And that's it. That's it for me. Might stream tomorrow before I go see my brother. I don't know. I got some videos I got to finish up. I'll prioritize that, and then if I have extra time, I'll stream. Okay? Okay. Goodbye!